Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Now click on Create, click on the acquisition. This is the first thing a user will do. Either you can do like this or you go to the catalog, such as browse the catalog and then you create the purchase record. Both are same click, both the ways you can able to create it. So this is your catalog phrase. In order to navigate, you have catalog form, promoted item, recently viewed items, recently viewed suppliers. Suppliers. Again, these are all the catalogs available. You can look for Brugika system, beverage catalog, chocolate catalog. Direct pepper. You have these catalogs. You can use this option to go back. Sorry, to go to the next list of suppliers. This is your favorite items added to your dashboard. Part by category with most items so. And on the left hand side, you can shop by category, by relevant section or commodity section. Let's say I want to look for software. You might not see the real-time data since it is a test system. You might be seeing some random values also in the software. They have Dell Intel hardware, Dell 456 Pure Pro Engineer, CAD Engineer, Dell hardware itself. So if you are okay with this item, you click on that item, either the image or the name, then it will take you to the brief about the particular item. Who is the supplier? What is the supplier? Parted. Manufacturer parted. Available time. This item is available in 5 days. The cost of item, each units of measurement. How many quantities you want to purchase? Let's say 10 quantities. Either you can add to favorites, so later you can come back and you can purchase. I'll click on add to favorites. What is that? Intel hardware. I'll click on add to cart. Even I can get more details in the product description. Product description, product specification, add to cart. Now you can see the cart is already with the tool. I'll just click on add to cart. Okay, then there are 3 items in my cart. If you want to review cart, you can click on review cart. So these are all the 3 items available. You can see the PR number is created. System has created this document, number purchase requisition 8493, test approval flow. So here I want to proceed checkout or continue shopping. When I click continue shopping, these are all catalogs which I have searched. I can go back to one level by clicking on computers and IT equipment, by clicking on purchase organization, by clicking on catalog form. Also, you can shop by supplier. You can go by supplier and find out item from the particular supplier or via contracts. How many contracts you are having, you can find it, and you can also search by contract or purchase. These are all the contracts created in your system. So in upstream, we are creating the contract right. So that is what final fear. Once the contract amount is utilized or the contract is closed, then that is automatically removed from this window. We don't need to do any cleaning act. These are all the available contracts. If you want to select, for example, I am selecting this contract. Then it will give me the item details in this contract. How many items are there? These many items are there. Let me add this item contract. Add to cart. Let's review the cart. I'll just add item which I have just purchased. That is Intel hardware and right now I have added one. Continue shopping. Stop it. Review the plot. Okay, so let me remove this one. Magical Equinium, which I don't want. Okay, if this kit does not contain any value, that's the reason we are not able to add that. Clicking to the description. Now I will go back to checkout. So here you are going to give the name for your purchase requirements. That is why you don't need to remember the documents like PR8493 and all. I can just say what is that. I am purchasing Intel hardware. I'll just put it Intel hardware. Anytime I search for a document with Intel, my document will be visible. I can use any of other naming conditions. For example, this is required by sales team. Or I know that name of the person is Manohar. Could be anything which the buyer will remember. That way you can do that. Some organizations have a policy on how you want to maintain your purchase liquidity. Let's say they have some external difference number. I will say that difference number XX and I will put that name. And I will just put the name of the supplier and I will just put value of the price. It could be any combination which you want to make it. Or simply PR for demo. When I search for the demo, I will able to see this. Items 9th menu. Alright, so this is my title of the purchase recognition purchasing unit. This will be copied over from your user profile what was defaulted. That will be added to your purchasing unit. If you want to change it, you have to go to self-service menu. Change your profile. Let's see PR8493. Suppose this is AgeMPU. When I click this AgeMPU, what is that showing? AgeMPU only. When I go to here, change your profile, save this purchase, requisition PUSA 1. These are all the permissions this person is having. The next one is accounting or shipping information. Here I will be having 3,000. I am not sure. So this was assigned to here, but that item which I am purchasing is only assigning to that particular purchasing unit. I will go back to my saved requisition by going to the procurement. So the documents tab here for demo PR849 free. Click on edit. Not sure whether I am getting this. Probably from this item. This item is purchasing and it is added. Okay, so this is on behalf of ORNet 17, but I am ORNet 12. So when I am doing this activity, I am not the owner for this item. So if I want to change, okay, ORNet 17's purchasing unit. He was okay. This cart was earlier. Somebody has prepared. I am using it. That's the reason it is picked up. Suppose if I keep it as Pradeep, then both the requester and the preparer will become the same. Pradeep Kumar 3000 is the company code. It has to deliver to head office location. You can put it by where that item needs to be delivered when you want this item, need by date. You can put comments for your purchase requisition. This is your item 10 quantities and with this value, if you want to purchase at this value, who has to approve it? I can click on the approval code. The system is asking some validation. What is that in the line item details, action, edit details? Then, wherever the red mark is there, we need to find out. So whether it is a material or service is not defined. Commodity code is not mapped. Let's see. Real account, search more and select top few. Then that will be accepted. Similarly, shift to plan. Change user 1. Need by date. 31st. If you want to add or change your tax code, you can change it. If you want to add any charges, you can do the packing class or anything, comments or etc. When I click OK, now when I click approval flow, it is showing B user 1 has to approve. And Pradeep Kumar has to approve this particular requisition. If you want to add additional item, click on continue shopping and add additional item. So what I have added is a catalog item from the supplier. Yes, you internal blue metal. Now I will go into add one more item that is non-catalog item. So I was just yesterday right. So we did not find that item, but I have got an offline quotation from the supplier. Now I'm going to add non-catalog item. I'll click this. So this item I will be purchasing is monitor cleaner. Okay, commodity code. Then I need to fill all these details. Earlier, these details are picked up from the catalog item. Now I need to choose. What is this commodity? I am just randomly selecting it. If it is mapped with the material group, then there is a combination existing with this particular commodity. This is your material group in your ERP system. What is this item? It is not a capital. It is just an expense. And material and how many quantity? One quantity. Price is tonnage. Update amount. Amount. Here I also need to select from which supplier I am buying it. I can select from the same supplier or I can purchase from different supplier. So Tata Motors contact Eaton Limited supplier part number cleaner right. Cleaner 223. Or I can enter any additional item cleaner. Click on active part. Proceed to checkout. Now I have my purchase requisition from two suppliers. Then what will happen when I submit my purchase requisition? The system is going to create two purchase orders. One purchase order for blue metal, one purchase order for Eaton Energy. There are some adjustments to be done on this line item. Action, edit details. Mostly the accounting information needs to be corrected. Here need by date. This was showing in the past. I am entering future date, so this is clear. Click on copy. Click on supply. There is do one option here, action, edit details. Let's try if we can able to do that. Collaborate with the supplier for this item. So I just want to, since I have added a non-item, I want to check from this vendor whether this price, what I am entering is correct. Then you can do the collaboration and find out that with the supplier, this will do it later. I don't need to do that yet. Now I click on submit. My purchase requisition is prepared. Now I am submitting for approval. Who has to approve? P user 1. Why he has to approve? He is the supervisor for this particular requisition. So the owner is Pradeep Kumar. Pradeep Kumar, supervisor is P user 1. Then P user 1 also. Company code 3000 code approval. Since the company code is 3000, I have added one approval. This is the dynamic approval is picking up it based on your company code. So I'm going to click on submit. Now you can view the requisition status by clicking on view requisition. Currently the status is submitted state. So remember yesterday when we are looking at purchase requisition, this is the submitted state, that means it is under approval. We do have in Ariba downstream only to override. The approval code, being a customer admin administrator, So I am going to overwrite the user 1. Just simply deleting it and Pradeep Kumar also. So I am also going to delete the Pradeep Kumar. Now what will happen? My requisition is approved. Now you can see the status it will. Now ordering. Ordering is the next status. Once orders are successfully placed, I should be seeing ordered status of my purchase requisition. Once I started receiving, I should be saying received or receiving now. This is your purchase requisition. Okay. Now when I go to the orders tab appearing. When I go to the orders tab, there are 2 purchase orders have been created. Now how many receipts, how many history, all these things can be viewed. When I go to the history, you can see purchase requisition is copied and the comments approver. One was deleted by Pradeep Kumar. Approval Pradeep Kumar also deleted. Now no approval is required. Ariba has created multiple orders because of supply location. It placed order with the supply blue metal and iron also. When I looked at the PO, by clicking on PO number, it will take you to the purchase order screen. So in purchase order screen, I do have additional options. What is that? I can change my purchase order. Cancel, receive, close, print. Print means physical copy. If you want to print this one, so let's print this PO just to view. You can see this PR copy. You are seeing already. Purchase order PO229 date ordered by supplier to metal contact. This is the supplier. Shipped to where this item needs to be shipped to. Where this item has to be built to location Intel hardware 10.3. This is the price XO. This printout Ariba will can customize it. If you want in landscape or vertical. You want to do that or you want to have a logo configure. That Ariba will help you in configuration. We generally don't do, we don't even have an access to customize it. So that is Ariba. Developers will be doing that. Now let's go back to the PO. So I can go to the history of the PO. Then I will know the supplier. It has been delivered to the supplier. When I click order action, I should see more detail where it has sent terms service. Ariba transaction blue metal PO2292. This is for the blue metal. If I go to the summary, then I will have pitches requisition. I can navigate between requisition and approvals after I'll go to P order. One is blue metal, second is Eaton. So this is the supplier Eaton. Sorry, order has been placed with this supplier. Alright, now supplier is receiving this PO in the system. Ariba has a now. He will be providing order confirmation. Then we will know the status is actualist confirm or confirming. Once we do this, that is an option. If you want to configure, you can configure. So how can we restrict this? Suppose if he's creating an invoice, we want to make sure he has provided order confirmation. By enabling it, all the suppliers are forced to confirm the order before creating an invoice. That can be done in the network rules. And then that has to be followed by the suppliers. Now receipt. So for this particular PO where we have added 10 quantities, right? This is PO 2922. Now I am in PO 2922. I will go to the order. Click on order ID here when I go to the receive or receive. Both are same. Only when I go to receive Ariba will create a composing receipt down document for the total quantity of the PO. When I click this RC3350 document or when I click receive, it will take me to the same receipt ID. I will just click on receive. You can see RC3350. Here system is saying 10 quantity has been ordered. So far no quantity has been accepted or rejected. Now if I want to do 10 quantity full receive, I can enable the platform. If I want to do a partial receive, let's say for quantity, I am receiving it. Update totals. So this for quantity will be accepted and date when this item was received. Then if you want to partially close this view after receiving this 4 quantity, I'm not going. To expect the remaining 6 quantity, I can close the order by making this one you are confirming that you are not expecting any more orders. You can put the details or you can add attachment. You can copy the document which is received during the receiving time. You can add it also. Receiving also can be configured for an approval flow, or you can use this accept all button instead of manually entering the number. I will click on next. The system will tell me who has to approve. This one, when you go to the approval flow, Pradeep Kumar has to approve this requisition. Since it is the same person, automatically the requisition will be approved. Ariba, another composition, will be created for remaining quantity. 10 is the added quantity, 4 is the received quantity. For remaining 6 quantity, Ariba will create one open receipt. Let's see how that will happen. I click on submit. Okay. Now in home page it is going RC. I should able to see under my document receipt page. If I want to get a refresh, click on refresh. Let's see RC copy recent. Perspective. Escape. We are waiting for approval. 50 approved also. 350 is not coming in. We can access this 3.50 from here also. Okay, so I'll go to the home page. We go to 292 and go to the receipts 3.3. Now 3.2 has been created. When I click this 3.35.2, I should see 10 quantities. And when I click on edit, so I can accept all, remaining quantities will be automatically added. How do I perform a negative quantity? Now, out of the 4, by mistakenly, I have received only 3, but I have accepted one. How can I correct that one? By simply going to the rejected quantity minus rejected quantity 1. If I do that, no. By doing this, you are confirming that you have received 4 quantity of a good and 1 quantity has rejected. System will consider 5 quantity has been received. If you want to reverse the received quantity in the accepted problem, you have to put -1 update totals and you are going to submit. This is how you are going to perform a negative receipt in Ariba. This may be interview question also. If someone is asking, we should be able to tell that PO 2292. Under PO 2292, when I go to the receipt, I should see 2 receipt document has been posted. When I go to the last 353, I should be seeing remaining quantity 7. So 10 previously accepted 3. Now I have open quantity of 7. Alright, now I will go back to the PO by clicking on the PO number. I will go to invoices now. I will create an invoice. Obviously, invoices will be created by the supplier. However, I want to create as a buyer invoice for PO 2922. I will go to the home page. Click on create. Click on invoice. I know the PO number, PO base. I can search the PO number 292. I might be missing authorizations, so that is the problem. Let me search for the P2. So all the open PO quantities will be shown to me here. What I was searching for, 222992, I think that's the reason. I will be searching for port 19. This is my PO. As I mentioned, suppose if you enter purchase order or when you open this PO and when you search for all the open POs will be shown to you. Then you can select the particular PO port 2922. Click on done. You can see the quantity for tenfold. Quantity, the system is creating it. You can perform invoice for the other quantities. However, if I select blue metal and then search for the POs, removing this. Now search for the POs only the supply related. So player, blue moon, blue metal, blue metal, blue metal, blue metal. Yeah, only that particular PO only will be shown to me. Alright, so it is already copied over. I will be just creating an invoice. I invoice 9th to May. This is my invoice. Invoice date is today. I can simply go ahead and submit my invoice for full quantity. I can click on submit. Reference date must be set. I will go back to the bottom of the line item action. Click on edit. Reference date. I just need to provide a reference date for this document. Validate and exit. System will do the validation. Once I click submit, I am creating invoice for full quantity of the P. However, I have performed receiving quantity shortings. I'll click on PIO submit invoice submit. Now your invoice has been created. Invoice 9th May 2017. So view the status of your request. Go to the summary. This is already created invoice and sent to Ariba network also. That means your supplier also will see the PO in his purchase order showing full quantity has been received, so that he will not going to create one more invoice. So when I go to the reference tab, this is what I was saying. Invoice reconciliation. As soon as you post an invoice, the reconciliation document will be created. That can be found under references. When I go to the references, you see this is the PIVO. How many of this is performed for that reconciliation document? It just adds IR to your invoice. That's it only. When I click invoice reconciliation, so in reconciliation, I got one error. PIVO received quantity variance, expected quantity. You're supposed to expect invoice only for 3, but you have received 10 quantities. Who has to do this exception? When I go to all exception, assign to me 1. All exceptions means where this assignment is done to invoicing agent. That also you can see. Currently, this invoice is assigned to me only. So what is that I can able to click on view detail? You can see the information from your line item. Reference Intel hardware. For quantity minus 1 quantity, you have done only 3 quantities, where purchase are just for 10 quantities. Invoice is for full quantity. Received quantity then. You are supposed to receive invoice for 34 on. All that information can be seen now. What is that? I need to do either I can perform a goods received or process invoice or wait until the reception has been cleared. Now what I am going to do? I am going to perform the goods receipt. At this stage, invading agent is informing the buyer, hey, you still need to perform the goods receipt. Let's say I'll go to the receipt now. I will confirm full quantity, accept all. All the quantity has been accepted. Click on submit. Okay, now when I go to the PO 2292, when I go to the receipt, now it will not create. One more composite receipt because I have completely received that item and I should see my status also received. So completely received. Now when I go to the invoices, I will open this invoice. That exception is automatically cleared. When I go to the reference, I'll go to invoice reconciliation document. You see this exception, it's already clear automatically. The invoice exception got cleared. Now when I go to line view approval flow, this person needs to approve your invoice reconciliation. Reference, documents and history. I'm just going to go to the approval flow, overwriting my approval. Somebody, I think I have trained them. They have created approval flows in invoice reconciliation document. I told them to create an acquisition they might have done in invoice reconciliation. Finance menu. For practicing purpose, when you're deleting approval flows, you are supposed to delete from the right hand side. Why now? If I delete the previous one now, mail will go to the finance manager to take an approval. Suppose if I delete him from the right hand side, so he will not be receiving notification. So you can save the notification by following this method. Now invoice is approved, reconciliation is approved. Now it's ready for payment for spare. For simply, so I'll go back to the invoice reconciliation document by clicking that link and I can go to the invoice status. Now reconciling is done. I go to the history. You will also see payment request. Payment request means sending this payment to your backend system. Once payment is made, you are going to receive the acknowledgement. Transaction number here that will show this is the amount needs to be paid to the vendor and when they're going to pay 5/29/2025 is 6/20/25. So this is future due date 30 days, maybe some. If you are going to get the payment net 45% rate. So if you are paying in advance, you will get some credit from the supplier. That's why the payment is scheduled for 29th May. When you go to the history, you should see the details of your requisition. I just want to force close this document. I don't want to process. Force close means in Ariba we are force closing it. How do I do that? I'm going to invoice reconciliation force pay, confirming that this is paid. Then my invoice status will be updated as paid. You can see that the state is a spin. Clear? Any questions on the flow? Sanjay, I have one question. So when you did like first pay, so similar to that. That happens like if there is any issues when it is not getting integrated with any other system, right? Like if it is standalone. No, it's not. Yeah, standalone is one method. If standalone system, then you don't use this process also. Invoice reconciliation invoice will not be done in a standard system. So when you are taking an invoice, obviously you will send this data to your back end system. And back end system, you will also receive the acknowledgement. So why I did the first closure? Anyway, this system, whatever this system now I am talking about, is not connected to the back end system. So I am not going to send the document to that. So out of the system, I have settled it. So that may not get updated in the system. That's why I post close that document. The same thing happens on other documents as well. For example, I have created the PO. By the time my PO is reaching to the supplier has deleted or deactivated his account. Then Ariba is trying to send over business network to him. But he is in a position or he has withdrawn his membership. What could be any reason? So now the supplier is not existing in our business network. Then Ariba will not send the PO. Then how do I send it? I called him and he's saying, just giving an example, he's saying that no, my management did not agree that we will not use Ariba anymore. We will only do manual. You send me via email and I will reply to your email only. If you want, you send it. But I don't care. But we are not going to do that. This is a situation. You will go with the supplier and you will ask them to bring them to the network, or you will stop dealing with him. It could be a business company decision. Okay. Now, in this situation, Ariba is trying to send the purchase order to the business network, but it will not go because the supplier has deactivated his account. Then what is the status? It is in second ordering status only. Then, instead of waiting in an ordering status, if I force close the document will be updated as ordered. However, the document is not moved to the next level. So that is a forced closure. The same thing I did for forced pay. Okay. Now forced closure document. This is an interview question and also you will be learning it. When I forced close a purchase order, that means I'm not going to send the PO to the network. That is, I have to take a decision. Then what is that I need to do? I need to take a printout of that copy and send to the supplier over mail. This is called managing this document externally. We're not going to use Ariba to send the document. Okay, now this process is done. Whether he can able to create the invoice in network in this situation. So in today's session, we have seen requisition, create a creation, non-catalog item creation, creation of multiple POs from requisition. This is also an interview question. Can I create requisition for my request? Multiple suppliers? Yes, you can create requisition. Can I create PO for multiple supplier? One PO for multiple suppliers. What is your answer? No, exactly, you can create only one PO per supplier Ariba. Even you. It allows to create requisition for multiple suppliers, but Ariba will split and send one PO per supply. Suppose I am having line item 1. This is vendor. I am having line item 2. This is vendor B, line item 3. This is vendor line item 4. 4 line items in 4 line. Items order can be anything. So sorry, I'm vendor A1 order can be anyway. So when Ariba create 1, 2, 3, these 3 line items, it will create one purchase order for this particular vendor B. It will create one purchase order per supplier. One record will be created and there is also on another situation. Ariba can split the PO for catalog item and non-catalog item. When I have a prior with catalog item and non-catalog item together, Ariba can split this PO. But catalog level and GAN catalog. Why this will happen? Most of the cases, if it is a catalog item, the supplier knows. Supplier has already feeded the information. It will be delivered in 3 days and it will be shipped from location at 7. For a non-item, he need to prepare this item. So this cannot be auto. He has to find out that item and pack it and send to the supplier. That why supplier would expect that I want 2 different POs. If my PR is having catalog item and non-catalog item, this is second scenario. This is I have explained first scenario. This is second scenario and third ship from or ship to location. Ship from may not be the case ship to, so I am creating a purchase requisition. With the line item 1 to be delivered in Hyderabad, line item 2 to be delivered in Mumbai. What will happen when I send a PO? PO will be sent to the supplier in Hyderabad who do not manage supplies to Mumbai. Then he has to internally communicate to the supplier and tell them, hey you, this is the pivot number I have received, you also forward the title. No, not possible then. There is a chance that Aruba will create pivot for Hyderabad location, pivot 1, 2, 3 for Hyderabad location, pivot 1, 2, 4 for mobile location possibility where these settings are configured. These settings are configured in a SAP Business Network on Network Transaction Rules. I will not able to show this, but this is you need to network transaction rules in here. If I copy the transaction rule that do not accept multiple locations POs in one location. In that scenario, Ariba will split the PIVO if the supplier do not, but have that restriction. It does not do that. In some cases only it will do. In some cases it will not do, based on the rules set up by business network. The supplier also can set up the rules, and the buyer also can set up the rules. Clear? Let's move on. So the next topic would be approval process, and today we are going to see user management. Before that, any questions? Okay, unlike upstream, where if you want to configure any approval process, we are going to configure that at the template level. So any of the process like sourcing request or contract request, you have to create a template. In the template as a task, you create an approval, or as a task, you create an approval in downstream. All the approvals are maintained at approvable document. So what is the approval document? Approvable document. PAR is an approval document. We don't have any approval process on PO because PRIT itself, once it is approved, it will become the purchase order. So we don't have any approval process on purchase order. We do have receipt as an approval document, invoice as an approval document, invoice reconciliation is also an approval document. Apart from that, user profile. So, which we have seen when you're doing a delegation, user profile will be triggered. Who has to approve? These are all approval document where you can able to configure approval process. Unlike multiple template, it's not there. Only one template. Once you create a PR, you go to the approval process. Select the document type as a PR. You can only have one active template. Then, sorry guys, one active template. Once you make that purchase requisition is active, that will be effective for all the purchase requisitions created in the system. Let's go and look at the PRC and Aripon. So, approval process are configured at the downstream. By clicking this, going to the child system, manage approval processes. Even if you remember last session, when we created a purchase requisition, there are two approvals. That triggered that we have removed by using customer admin rights. Now this is your place where you are going to configure approval process in the downstream. Approvable type. These are all the approval types where you can able to create purchase approval processes. The system is also having timesheet and travel authentication, which is Ariba module. So if you are a transport management, if anyone looking, those documents also included here. But the relevant document for us will be requisition. When I go to the requisition, when I select active, when I click search, these are all the documents which you can have in Ariba. So this is someone was editing it. That's why we are saying it. If we don't want a staple, this is done deleted. Okay. So these are the three requisitions: aggregate requisition amendment and PR report process. Aggregate requisition is a feature where you can, when all the PRs are created by the users, at the end of the day, it will consolidate and create an aggregate requisition. So if that feature is used, this is the one. Amendment, when you are doing an amendment to the requisition. That is, we generally don't have this one, but this is for some testing purpose. They are doing it, so the active registration will be this one requisition PR approval process. When you correct the title, you will understand this is the approval process. This is the summary where you are going to have the naming PR approval process. Owner is editor. Version 3 active version. Approvable rules. These are all the rules, or this is also called node 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes. 4 nodes have been configured. Each node will trigger on a requisition based on the condition satisfaction. For example, requester. Approval is a node. This will only come when this condition matches. What is that condition? Preparer is not requester. Suppose if I created a purchase requisition and I have selected requester as a different person, then this condition will satisfy. If both I am the preparer and I am keeping on behalf of as my name, only then this condition will not be applied. Then this a request. What is the decision? Add requester into the approval. This will not be happen. Supervisor approval. So here all are true. That means there is no condition is mentioned. Automatically this supervisor approval node will be added to all the requisitions. What is that it is going to do? It adds a supervisor into the approval flow. Purchase unit approval. So what is this one? This is again all conditions satisfied. It goes by lookup table. It verifies the company code. If the company code of the purchase requisition is 1000, it adds RN 17 as an approval. If the company code is 3000, it adds or an AVA approval lookup table. This is searching it. Then CO approval. So CO approval will only come when the requisition amount is greater than 1 land. What it will do? It will add visual path CO. This person will be added as approval process owner filter rules. So here you can able to decide. Suppose or net 1 is appearing as a requester and also CO. So during approval, I don't want to see this naming in two places. So I do have an option to remove the duplicate and decide whether I want to be in the beginning or I want to be in the ending. So only one approval will be activated, remaining one will be removed. That is possible under filter rules configuration. Approvable edit rules. So during this process, during this approval process, who are all can edit, whether the supervisor can edit, unit can edit, CEO can edit. So if there edit what needs to be done, whether it has to be resubmitted or without any changes, that's you are going to do under approval edit rules policies is if in order to incorporate certain policies like three people needs to have a requisition. All those things are configured under policies. Testing. Once you created a requisition, if you want to test it, then you can use the testing functionality to look at who will be the dynamically the approvers here. This study will tell you how many versions are made. Now, if I want to make a changes to the existing process, I will click on edit and I will make the changes and I will activate. So I will be having a fourth version. So I can able to fourth version will be available. So I know the tracking. So who are all done whatever the changes by clicking on that particular title other version. I know what was there during initial and what is got changed. Also some cases when I say requisition, as they know requisition type is requisition when I click it. These are all some people have done for testing purposes. So you can also do that by going back to the acquisition. When I copy this requisition, I can practice that also. Okay, let's Say I'm going to click on copy when I search again creation data today. So this has been copied over. I can practice this one now. I can edit this one by going to the document once I prepare all these things, check in and activate. What will happen? This will get activated and I will not have the history. So history, I'll be lost again. In business or in real time, you are going to do the same activity. You don't generally copy the new process. You will make changes to the existing version and you will activate the new version. That way you will be having a proper tracking. But in this system, if you want to practice, if you don't want to touch the default approval process, you can do this action and you can play around also. So I'm going to delete this one. I'll select active one. So we are going to play around in the active one only. So click on search, click on this, click on edit. Okay, so let's see requisition approval. Since I want to show you how to create a brand new one, this may not work out. So what? I am going to do that. So I will exit. So I will select this one. Click on copy. Click on creation date today. Click search. So I will select this one. Click on this. So I will go to the summary. Here you generally enter the name PR, approval process, config, demo, then go to the approval process. So I am going to remove all these approval notes. Right? So this is your dummy one. So I'm going to click on first. I'll call this as prepared. That is not requested. So the description of the note here, condition, and I can use some predefined condition which Ariba has created. I can utilize them. So here I am going to select prepare is not requested. So what is that condition? It is going to say if the preparer and requesters are not there, I will be adding requester. So why do we do this activity? Suppose I am creating a purchase requisition. My name is Orain Twalik, so I am creating purchase requisition and selecting Orain 17 as the requester, and I have completed my requisition process. This Warren is 17. He does not know that we have we have created purchase requisition on behalf because he is not aware. We created and we have completed our purchase requisition. In order to avoid that, we are including if there is a difference, his creation. We want him to be notified. That's what we are trying to create. I will go back to Ariba add requester. I don't need any approval. He will be added as a watcher. If I remove this tick mark, he will become watcher. Requester added as watcher. Okay? Alright. Now I will create. Either I can create a parallel rule or serial. Means once this person approved, the next person will have parallel means without dependency on his approval. Another person can approve it. So I will be going to add parallel rule. So the parallel rule, I am simply keeping supervisor. So all conditions are okay. In all requisition, supervisor must approve it. Add supervisor, then mentioning the result. Must. Once supervisor is approved, then I want to have serial rule. I will say final approval. I can define a condition here. Finance approval is only needed if it belongs to, let's say, field match. Select field. These are all the fields you can utilize to company code. Only if the company code is equal to select value 3000. Just for testing purpose, I am creating. If the company code is only 3000, finance approval will trigger. Otherwise, it will not trigger. So I am going to say add a group. I'll just simply include some finance proof. So I'm selecting finance team recent. Finance team in case company code is 3000. So adding this region will help for the requester when he borrows through the PR when he clicks on approval process. When he takes the mouse over there, the system will display this particular test. Now, after finance approval, now I want to have one serial node just to show you approval lookup tables. So here I will say company code based approval. So all our conditions are same. So in all the peers, I want this one. Here, instead of using approvers or groups, I will select use approval lookup type. I will be selecting group or user needs to be added. Add a column. What is that column? Code OK. Click OK. Then I'm preparing the file. Company code is this. How I want approval. So I'll be selecting approval. Lookup table export column headers. Alright, this is your dummy file. This is the template. Hope you are able to see the screen. Yes. So if the company code is 1000, this is the header value. Which group needs to approve? If I know the group, I can add it, or if I want the user, so user would be orange glove. And what is the requirement? True. Who means mandatory. False means optional tooltip is 1000. Company code approval. I'll select. Second, if it is 3000, I want orange 17 to be coming true. Approval is required. 1000. Company code approved generally. This file you can give it to the business and they will be giving you the details. With that, you can upload back the file. I'm going to save it. Let's go back to Ariba export column. Upload the file. The file is having inverted commas. Let me rename that file. You can see here the company code is 1000, run at 12 will be added, his repo is rated, and the tooltip will be 1000. If you have a group of users, then you can add that under group column. So like that, you can prepare your header file. Now I have done. So I'll go back to the filter. Like that, you can create as many notes as you want. Haribo recommends more than 50 records are not recommended because the system will have a performance issue. So up to 50 nodes, you can easily configure it. Even if the client is having more, there is also no problem. We'll turn it. So I'm going to remove the duplicates. Let's do. What is that? Create a new rule which says that remove duplicates. This is just a text only. What is that system is going to do in the bottom action? We are going to decide retain last approval or voucher. In my case, I want return, remove duplicate. Retain first approval. What does it mean when I go to the approval process? If it is coming here, it's going to remove this one, so you can change as per you want to need it. I'm just keeping for different purpose. Retain me as a first approval. You can read the description. Remove a duplicate approvers from the approval flow. Retain in the first approval instance only. Other instances will be retained. Generally, they will keep it as a last one. Why? Because they know that who is in the before that, who are and all approved, then he will take a decision. That's why they keep it as a retained last approval, even if you are a watcher also. So it will be keeping it. Approval edit rules. So do you want to allow approval of edit rules or not? So these are all options. Edit without effect, edit required approval, edit with submit. Editing is not allowed. For example, if the approver is so and so I want him, he can approve without effects. So that means he can directly make the changes. What is that condition? Field match. Select field. I'm just selecting some random, so I'll go to the requisition. Sorry, user. If the user supervisor equal to select a value. If user supervisor is or an A12, but generally this will be given as 1 second. Pradeep Kumar. Okay, if Pradeep Kumar below who were their subordinates, if they create the PR, they can. Able to submit it just generally. You can able to give this to a group of people under him. If they are submitting, they can make the changes. So that's what we are creating it. So I am going to create the title as let's understand Pradeep Kumar is the sourcing manager, sourcing team. Edit permission. Other than this, if I want to create a new one, editing not allowed. So here editing is not allowed. When field match select field, if the let's say let's take the total amount. The total amount is greater than 10,000. We don't want to allow any changes because they have to resubmit. You can use any of these values for creating your total cost. Total cost of the PR is equal to or greater than select value $10 then editing is not allowed. So this is how I am configuring approval edit rules. Then I will go to the testing. Now you can test it. What will happen here? Supervisor approval finance team. Cost center is 3000 company code approved when I click this PR. $8493, you can see this. This is the 3000 company code and value of the PVO is 300. So what I am going to go back PR 8493. So I'm going to exit PR 8493. I'm searching for this PR. Okay, copying this PR, copy of the 85998. So let me open this. Edit. Currently, this is prepared by Pradeep on behalf of also Pradeep. Now I am changing on behalf of just want to show somebody else to come to the approval process. And I am changing this to let it be 3000. Click on save. Now I will go back to my recent document. Now I will go back to my recent document. Requisition. As this is the one I am doing it, I will go here. I will go to the testing. I will add approval before I am publishing it. I am just checking it. So date created today, call the main, add currently selected. Click on done 8598. If I keep it, there is an issue here. Okay, edit this description. Okay, so end it. So currently the approval flow will be triggered based on existing process. Some changes. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so currently it is showing RSAP user Pradip Kumar. I'm going to save. Manage approval process. Created to the manage approval process. Waited today. Click on search. Open it. Testing 8598. You can see now voucher has been coming because the requester and approver are different. So there is reason P user 1 supervisor of the ORA network stream is coming because cost center is 3000 and 3000 cost center approval also. If I change this 3000 to somebody else, let's go to edit this item. Edit since the company code is 3000. Now I am changing to 1000. Save manage approval process. Because there is an error here. Let's see. So the 1000 company code is not accepting it. Let's edit this description. Thank you. The 1000 company fund is not working. We'll do one thing, add approval. I'm just selecting any company code which is not chosen. I am just selecting any requisition which is not created for 3000. $7192. Click on run 7192. Alright, so even other one. I am selecting A324 which was created for company code. This is not for the 1000, this is created for this particular ID. Company code is Viparu1. For this sample, if you see it is not triggering the approval process. Only user 1 is only coming, supervisor approval only coming. Rest of the things are not coming. But if I select this one, sorry, this one I was getting all these options. So like this, before you make the changes now, if I check in and activate, approval process will become active for the new requisitions being compared. Like this, you can configure approval process for any of the documents. So let's say the script, click on search. Click on active one. Okay, this is the requisition for received approval. Basically requested approval, add requester. Requester should receive. Very simple. Requester will be added into the approval flow. Clear any questions on the approval process? Let's discuss on user management. Sanjay, quick question. Sorry? Go ahead. How can I create a work group queue for a non-catalog purchase recreation? Let's say if I'm creating a non-catalog PR and I want a network, so here only will be having that option. So you have one line item, that's why I'm not getting it. Maybe they have disabled parameter or something. Here you will be getting requisition once you click the line item and line item type will be there. Within that, you can able to create it. But why it is not showing, we do not know. I will find out. If not, I will able to take from some other system and I can get back to you. Sure, Sanjay, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. And then the plan header, what you have selected. If I want to create a new work group, we need to do under the user work groups. Right? One second. Let me add that user management and the commodity. Can you come again? So the way you selected plan head as a workflow. Let's say if I want to create a new workflow, especially for IT commodity, and we don't have a user group created. So let's say Sanjay, Vivek and Vanita should only be having access to workroom, all IT commodity PIs. I need to go ahead in the user table and I need to create the user. No, here you have to go to manage user manager. Here you can create custom group. So you can create one custom group. This is system level. You are creating it. So you can call that group as. Don't create any groups in the system. Let's call this as U3 belongs to Procurement Unit 11 or something like that. Procurement Unit 11. This is the unique name, group name in the users, whatever the 3 people you are seeing. So you can add it. In the Procurement Unit 11, you will be selecting as a Manage Approval Process. In the Add Approver, you are going to select Procurement 11 after you created it. So here, Add Group. In this one, you are going to show the procurement level. Got it? Got it. Okay. And does all the people needs to approve or limited people that you also have an option? Here, approval is required. If you remove it, it will become, if you remove, it will become watcher. If you add approval, then there is one more also will come. Okay, I think by default it is only one approval. There is one more tick mark also. If you click the tick mark, all the people in that approval group has to approve it. If you don't select the tick mark, only anyone. By standard rule, anyone from this approval group is sufficient. If there is a condition that if you want to use that condition, then there is one more tick mark will come. Do you want to get approval from all the team or only one person can approve is sufficient? That is also will be there. But that is custom specific. So when your client is asking, I want that feature, once you enable that feature, you can also decide entire group needs to approve or only one person from that group gets to be approved. Clear, got it? Yeah. In today's section, we are going to discuss role assignment and user management. Before that, any questions? Alright, so I assume there is no questions. So first thing is role assignment. So what is role assignment? Suppose I am having PR by default. I am the only person authorized to accept goods received for this particular document. So in Ariba, suppose if I had gone on LD, so I went for an annual vacation during that. Time material has come, receiving department will not able to perform goods received because I do not have the ownership. I have two options. I could have delegated my authority that we have seen already. I hope you are aware. So after the delegation, that person can act as myself and he can do that, or a scenario where the owner of the purchase requisition has left the organization permanently. Then how do I transfer this purchase requisition to somebody else? Literally, you can close the purchase order and create a new purchase order if there was no goals received and your vendor is accepting it. If not possible, then how do we transfer your document to a different person? That is what we are going to see right now. Role assignments. I take you to the Ariba. So manage approvable role assignments. So what is the approval type? You can transfer any of these document ownership. Let's talk about requisition. Click on search. All the requisitions will be shown to you. Then you can filter down which requisition you want to make a transfer. Okay. Looks like I am in a parent site. I'll switch to child dealer. Manage approval role assignment requisition. Click on search. So I will select any one of the document PR 3977. So sorry, PR 3977. Select the document. Click on reassign. So I can change. Current user is Pradeep Kumar and I want to change to Varane 17. Same both options, preparer as well as requester. Requested is the main person. So this is where we just need to change it. Even if you want to assign to somebody else, you can do that. And you can provide the justification why you are doing it. Maybe I'll just say Pradeep Kumar. Put the name user aid is better, is on vacation. Or move to some other department. Or I have a ticket. I can put that incident number. Or I can put reference email. Somebody has sent me an email to do this activity. I can do that. So whatever the base document which you are having, once you click on save, the document will be assigned to ORNI 17 when I click save this document, which is the 3977. So here I will enter. Now you could see that it has moved from. Okay. Okay. And there is one more chance because okay, let's go to. Okay, in PR 3977, now you can see Purana 17 and this is on behalf of when I go to the history. I can also see transfer from Pradeep Kumar to you can also read the comments by clicking on the comments why this was done. Also all for odd purpose. Everything is recorded who has done that activity, who has transferred everything, can able to see from the history tab that how you can assign from one person to another person using role assignments. Clear any questions on the role assignments? How is this different from delegation of authority? Delegation is a temporary, here you are changing permanent. So in delegation, if you are doing it, you still the active owner, so you're not changing, you're just acting as that person and doing that activity. Here you're transferring the document ownership. Maybe I will say that that is kind of a rental where you stay temporarily. Once your job is done, you're going to move away and this is a permanent. So this will become you. You are the ownership he adopted. Clear. Correct. Now you shouldn't say even after coming. The person coming from the vacation, he cannot take the ownership. No. Again, you have to do the same activity. You have to transfer the ownership. 17 to or and 12. So every time you have to do it. Not every time. Only when the documents which needs to be transferred. That time only. Suppose in an organization, you are there. Now you have been moved to now you are working on a sourcing project. Then they have moved you to, let's say, contract management or some other area. Or maybe they moved to sales or they moved to finance. You are no more going to do that procurement activity. So, whatever you are having ownership, you are transferring to your reliever or the person who is taking care of your work. You are transferring to him. So, he will take the authority and he will follow up with the supplier and get the material done, and then he will process in etc. If it is a temporary basis during your leave or sometime you want to do that, the delegation is the best option. So you can do 2 delegations on yourself. You can do the delegation, or as a customer admin, we can delegate from one person to another person. Suppose you are expecting that you are going to come back after vacation and you want to retain the ownership, then the delegation is the better solution. Sanjay, is this only possible in the PR document only? No. I have shown what are the options available, right? Okay. I think I joined 2 minutes, right? Sorry. Okay. No. Here only. Manage. Approvable. Approvable means the document which you can be approved. Okay. Approvable time. Here all these things you can change. You can change the transfer for a receipt, invoice reconciliation document, contact request, any of these. Document types, you can change. The ownership, okay, so we don't have a PO. PR. Both are same if you change PR. Once requisition is completely approved and converted into P. Correct. If I want to change the PO for a PO because he left the phone, we can change it. You have to change the requisition. That will take care of the PO as well. But sorry, like whenever I change a PR business owner, once it is converted into PO, will it be considered under a change order? No. Here we are only changing the transfer shape. So, since I am making a PR from one person to another person, it will not create any new version of the PO. It is still same as only when you change the PO only, the new version will be created. Okay. So we are not changing via. Okay. You can do that other method. This is via administrative area we are doing this. Suppose you want to change the ownership of this document, PR 3977, the same document. What you can do, click the change method. That means you are editing the PO. Then you are assigning this to Prajeep Kumar. By doing this activity now, version 2 will be created. You can see here PR 3977 version 2 being created. Got it? Yes, sir. So I'm going to discard this. I'm just clicking on delete. Alright, now let's discuss about user management. How many type of users we are having in Ariba? So there are mainly 2 types. One is enterprise users and third-party users. We do also have supply user itself. This will be created as soon as you creating a supplier contact, but normal users who is having an Ariba will be 2 type of people, enterprise and third party. So generally any organization, the employees will become enterprise users. The consultant like we becomes third party users. Most of the companies' enter pages will be having single sign-on or corporate. Authentication. What does this mean? They can log in with their corporate authentication. For example, how they are connecting to Teams or they are connecting to Outlook. The same way they can connect it to Ariba. So when say enter username, URL automatically, it will pop up the sign in, and once you enter the credentials, it will take you to the login page. Mean dashboard or home page. They don't need to remember Ariba username and password, which is not required because it is linked with corporate authentication. Third party uses like a consultant. Maybe we don't have that authentication. We will be having username and password. This is also called application authentication. So the credentials are maintained in the application. So here it is. Maintain that single sign-on. Okay, now when you want to create a user in Ariba, if the supplier is your client is having FPC federated process control, that means parent and child relationship, then user has to be loaded. User data has to be loaded in two places. One is upstream. Second, in downstream. In upstream, you will simply load very basic information. In downstream, you load the basic information plus shipping information, plant information, etc., which is generally used only in downstream only. So the same file you have to load in downstream along with additional detail like shipping and plant once you load the file in. Upstream, you wait for some time. Because of the suite integration, this data will come back to the downstream. Under downstream, you are going to add that user again with the same user ID which you used in upstream, enter additional which plan, which is the approval limit, all those things. Maintain and upload the file. Alright, this is once you load the file. Then there is another file. User group consolidated this file. You only load in upstream only. You don't need that to be loaded. In downstream, what is this file consists of? It consists of the system group or custom group and username. For example, I have sourcing manager as a system group, sourcing manager in another column. I am going to give Oranet 12. Same sourcing manager Oranet 13. So what will happen? When I load this file, Oranet 12 and Oranet 13 will be receiving the permissions of sourcing manager. That's how user group consolidated file will be having. Before you load this file, make sure that these users are already available in your system. So first you will be loading user data and second user consolidated file. And user group consolidated file. This file you only load it in upstream. Whatever the permissions you have given will be applicable for downstream also. You don't need to load. Replicate that in the function clear. Now I am going to show you how to create this user in. User interface not via link code operation. I will go to Ariba. I have to load. The create the user in the parent. First I will go to the parent. Okay, managing parent. Also you have to do core administration. User management is maintained under user manager. So in your company, if a user manager access was given to HR person, he will only get user manager access along with data import and export. I see here site manager, data import and export user manager, data import export. What is the difference? This is a kind of limited functionality related to user import and export. When I click this data import and export, I do only see import user, card, enterprise user, SIP2, all this information only, whether this is a high level. Where this is given to customer administrator, he will have access to so many tasks or import activities. So that is the difference between a subgroup import, data import and export, and site manager level data import and export. Now let's go to users. First time you are creating a user, you are going to click this, create a user. Don't do this activity in this particular system, because if they notice it where they are going to lock our account here, enterprise user or third party user, enter the user ID. This should be unique user ID in your organization. Only one user ID will be there. The name can be anything. So in our example, it is Boranet 12 and the name is Pradeep Kumar. By doing this, what will happen if some other day, if I want to assign this permission to somebody else, like buyer 1, buyer 2, buyer 3, buyer 4, like that, I'll simply rename the name. Only in this scenario, I don't need to transfer the ownership of document, etc. You just give him the permissions and this user buyer 3 can log in into the system. This is also one of the recommended method if your company willing to give that. Okay, now Pradeep Kumar buyer 3. This is generally not required. Which organization? That is fine here. Email address. This is where all the communications will go to. Okay, so all the mails. So whatever you are creating an event, whatever the task completed, whatever the purchase requisition, change of ownership, any notification you are going to receive will be on this email address. Suppose, as I mentioned, if you are following this method, some other person is replacing this by a 3. You are going to update his name like Shiv Kumar and update his email address. She had Professor's RSA. Then we're not transferring anything. So this guy will be getting access to all these emails and he can also access. Alright, now business phone number, fax number, English, etc. Here you're going to decide who is your supervisor. So basically in an Ariba environment, if the person is not taking one action, the mail will go to the supervisor. And in some of the cases, when purchase requisition is submitted, it has to be approved by the supervisor. That supervisor is picking up from the user level whichever the supervisor you are adding in. In real time, maybe you are having a different hierarchy. You may be reporting to the procurement manager or somebody. In Ariba, whatever the supervisor you are mentioning here will be followed for all our approval purposes. Once you enter these details, invitation by selecting this, what will happen to this email? Address link will go telling to reset their password and they should able to access Ariba. And so forth, groups. This is where I am going to give the permission system level permissions, like sourcing manager. So at the time of creation itself, I am giving the permissions as well. Click on done. So whatever sourcing manager, then he will able to do this activity. Once I click save, this user will be created in Ariba. Click on. I'm not doing that, so I'm just click on cancelling it if you find. If you want to find out all the users in the system, click search. All the users will be displayed here. You can take certain actions per user. Let's say 1 and a 17. What is this? User account is locked by administrator. This is what you're going to face it. There are so many things. They have locked it. If I don't want, I can search the users which have not been locked. Or then let's say Professor saw this is 79. This is hashtag Ariba Consultant 5999 at email. Probably this is not working. Action, click on edit. If you want to make any changes, you cannot change unique user ID. This has to be same. You can update the name organization, change the supervisor on the time zone at 7, and add or remove certain permission which that user is having. So using interface, if you want to edit it, you can do this activity. Suppose you want to remove some permissions. These are all the permissions this user is having. So I don't want audit user, etc. I want to provide him general manager role. Then I'll click done. And I'm going to click on save. If I save this, changes will be effective. Again, reminding, don't do these activities in this particular system. Now I can also do editing it, acting as this user. We have seen whenever we want to approve something, we are acting as that user. And processing the document log. Suppose if the user has calling you and saying that, hey, I suspect my account being compromised. Can you please temporarily lock? You can lock that account. If he leaves an organization, click on deactivate. What will happen? All his data will be removed. All the permissions will be removed and the account will be deactivated. Reset the dashboard. Suppose we have learned in the first session to organize the tabs. We deleted some tab. We added some content. Then user is calling you saying that, hey, now I messed up my template. Can you please reset my dashboard? You can do this option. Once you click on reset towards last, this is Ariba minus, so it was maintained inside the system most of the cases. This is the recommended. If you have cus_new, then these are all called custom group. So what is custom group suppose? Okay, this can be used for approval process. Okay, I have a process flow. Whenever sourcing projects are created in an organization, I will be creating sourcing approval team. So I will include this as an approval group. Then I will include the members. So buyer 1, buyer 2, all those members, I will add them into approval team. Then whenever I am using an approval flow in any of the tasks, when you are saying whom to receive the notification, who has to approve, if you select this particular group, whoever members in this group can take an approval action that can be used, or I have when someone is joining in my organization with sourcing manager role. Okay, sourcing manager designation. So I want to give him the permission in Ariba called custom_sourcing manager. So by creating this group, I will also do permissions like sourcing agent, sourcing manager, internal user above group sourcing approval team. So each time one guy is joining in my organization as a sourcing manager, I have to go to him. Add this role, this role, this role, this role. Instead of that, I will create one custom group customer_sourcing manager. I will assign all these roles into this. I simply add this role to the sourcing manager then. Automatically, he is going to get these permissions added into his profile. So to do these activities, we create the custom group. Now how do I assign this permission? So when I go to the system group like sourcing manager under child group, I am going to add customer. _sourcing manager. This is the same customer. Okay, by doing this activity, this system will inherit. The custom group will inherit the permissions of sourcing manager. Now I am going to show that in Ariba. Let's say sourcing manager. This is the sourcing manager. System group action. Click on edit. When I go to the child groups here, I am going to add custom category manager. This person will be getting sourcing manager permission. This is going to inherit the rules permissions from sourcing manager to customer category manager. This is the file name call center.threest. This is the field name Bugs Causal Test. Purchasing unit. What is that? Books. Company code. Unique name. Unique name of the call center. Call center description procurement dot, which is purchasing unit. It has been assigned. So two values where these three fields are mandatory. If I want to import a call center, what's in the first one? String. And this is the multi-language example. Value 1000 is the organization. This could be. This is the problem. When I'm opening in an Excel file, you have to have this as a text, suppose. If it is converts to the number, you're going to miss this value. So your cost center having a pre-elitating zeros will be moved away. So if you open this in a text format, then this will not be missed. True. Or when you are working on Excel in the next, when you're trying to import, make sure that you have converted that into a text format and add those leading zeros and import the file. Required unique name company code. So suppose if I'm using a company code, that data should existing in reference to file listos. Clear any questions on data dictionary? Okay, so let's say I am selecting one commodity code. For physics 1. Okay, this is my UNSPSC commodity code and I will select company code 3000. In company code 3000, okay, this commodity code was mapped to many material group. This material groups were 203 or 213. If someone is creating a purchase order, if he selects this commodity code and if he select the material group, system will show all these things. So for example, if it is a commodity, material or a service, let's say I am using for material purpose. When I say material, then these are all the material groups I can select. If the user selecting this material group, by default it will be cost center. So let's say I am selecting this is the material group. So I can only do either cost center or expense account type only. I will not able to do anything else. This mapping you have to maintain in this particular place. So here the company code is 3000, bill to 3000, and if you have general ledger by defaulted, then that numbers. Also you can mention here, then automatically if some user is creating a commodity, it will pick up this material group and with cost center. And what is that cost center you can define. Okay, so once you select this center, you can also default what is either a WBS element, what is the GL code, etc. You can do. That this mapping is critical when some user is saying that I selected this commodity code for this company code, but I was not getting service because it was mapped only for material, only you. Not able to do that service. So in that scenario, you have to come to the commodity export map file. Add the similar line item and keep this also for D. And then next time when the user is creating a PITAR, you will able to select the service clear. Alright, so let's go to Ariba. So we have discussed commodity and commodity code mapping. Then for Q2P manager invoice exception types. So what is the invoice exception times, and before that I will be discussing on receiving times by commodity code. So we were discussing about where is the T4 clue. Okay, so we discussed about commodity codes, ERP commodity, that's also called partition commodity. With the mapping, you will able to map from ERP here. Semi-file is used to map UNSPSC commodity to your SAP Ariba material group, SAP M material. Group, and then we discussed about, counting DR material, etc. Now what we are discussing is receiving types by commodity code. Okay, if I select a commodity code, say marker pen, okay, and then I can physically count that item. And I can able to perform the goods receipt. So whenever my company is receiving marker pens, I want to perform a goods receipt, then invoice. When it is invoice comes, I want to match that with the quantity received in the receipt and the invoice that I want to match it. However, there is a rent which I don't need to perform any goods receipt because rent has to be paid. There is not. an acknowledgement or anything. In this scenario, I want the system to create auto invoice based on invoice state or any reference state which I am having it. So it is possible to customize based on your commodity code. What is that the system has to perform whether the system has to accept manual receipt or it has to perform auto receipt, or you don't need any receiving directly, we will book it. That is what we are going to see now. I will take you to the Ariba receiving times, my commodity codes. When I go to commodity codes, when I click list all. Why? Looks like someone has cleared all those things. Alright, let me just check. Manage core administration for Q2P manager receiving types by commodity code. Click install. Strange. I think someone has cleared all the receiving types. Manage core administration, receiving tax by commodity. Procure to pay manager. Receiving tax by commodity code. So when I click list all, so currently when commodity code 1001, if any PO was created, system is expecting manual receipt and received by quantity. So when invoice is paused, system will verify if there is a good receipt or not. Second scenario, customer service, no receipt is required. Reconciled by the amount. So let's create one scenario. So Ariba Manage. Ariba Manage means this data is maintained in Ariba system. Commodity code. Let's select marker pen. Marker pen. If we have marker pen, not stationary marker, we don't have. Let's select some, under stationary pencil. So I am selecting that. If any invoice is coming for this item, I want matching. Manual receipt received by quantity. Then I click same. Suppose if I select no. I have created some combination, but this is not using it. So these are all disabled. For example, piping material manual receipt. So I want to activate again. So someone has deactivated. I don't know why. Now all the active items I can able to find from by default. If you don't maintain anything data here, then system assume that you are going to perform manual receipt received by quantity. If you maintain any other data, like let's select create new, I will be doing for the rent. So rent may be under commodity service or something. Storage tank rental service, something like that. If this is happening, then I don't want any. Goods receipt. No receipt is required. Reconciled by the amount. So invoice is matched against the PO amount, and that will be set in. Or if I want to system to create a receipt just for recording purpose. We want the system to generate a receipt, then auto receipt on due date, on invoice date. This is concealed by. I want to do by amount, auto receipt on due date, or auto receipt on invoice when the invoice is submitted. I want to be. System has to perform a goods receipt. However, if the value is more than 1000 US dollars, I don't want this activity. I want the system to be perform goods receipt. Because if there is no default value, means that we'll go for manual receipt. I click on save. Okay, this is your maintaining at the commodity code level. I do have an option for the same. Commodity. If I am getting from different supplier, I want to work one way. If I am getting from other supplier, I want to work way that is receiving time aspect part number. This is a sub level from your commodity and I select all these are all your active. So again, as this particular vendor, if this is the part number system is going to perform manual receipt. Let's create one scenario just to understand. So which is the supplier? So I will select Ankit Private Limited. If the Ankit Software Limited, I am getting a bearing 6212. Then what is that I want? I want manual received by quantity or system to perform because this supplier we have worked so long that they are very prompt. They do the quality checks and they make sure that there is no flawless. In that scenario, I want the system to create the invoice because we will, once I place them, order. I am sure that that item is delivered. So in such scenarios, you can decide what is that you want to do it. So maybe I will say no receipt is required, reconciled by the amount. This is exception to the normal one for the same bearing I can. Where is this same bearing for another supplier? Maybe I don't want to do that activity. So when system creates, if they found this bearing number and the system is going to follow, no receipt is required. We can sell by the amount clear. Invoice exceptions and receiving times. Sorry, receiving times. Sanjam. What is the domain? Own space that we cannot change. I'll come to that. Okay, so let's take in a broader sense. Many times I was saying that for Ariba we don't need any master data. Okay, so I have in Ariba. I am maintaining my master data per commodity codes. I will call my commodity as rent accounts receivable. I will call whatever the name, I will say wooden table. Chair. These are all my commodity codes which I am having in my system. Now we are dealing with suppliers. The supplier, he is also having their own list of material. Then he calls the chair as wooden. He will call this as a wooden. Only this will, he will call as a payment. This will, he is called as a service fee. There is an inconsistency between what we maintain. By individually, each supplier will have their own. Each client will have the info by Ariba, a default. Our organization, United Nations Service, some splits. There is a full form, you can Google it. So they are the one, they are preparing a standard list of commodities in a hierarchy called 6-digit, 8-digit hierarchy. So what is the 8-digit hierarchy? Let's say I just giving a random example, 10 means raw material. Under 10 raw materials of a paper. Maybe 10-20 I will use for raw material chemicals. Just randomly I'm selecting. Okay, in this scenario, Antangenu 1. Paper I have different qualities. Newspaper 2. This may be for art paper. 1 for matte paper or wallpaper. I have different classification again under newsprint. I do have one more level 10 or 1 In newspaper I have 80 GSM and I have 60 GSM, the thickness of the paper. So I have a hierarchy here. So now when I have this master data, I am going to map. This is what I have just explained. Commodity code export, mapping, write or partition commodity code. I am saying that if the chain belongs to this particular commodity, Ariba follows this. But when it wants to send to back-end system, even Ariba uses this data, and when the mapping is there, relevant accounting material group will be used to create the purchase order. This is one scenario. Even the suppliers also, They might be having their own data. When they are referring, the Ariba recommends to follow this structure. Suppose if you are going for a greenfield implementation, what is greenfield? Your client is not having any ERP system. Now they are migrating to SAP along with S/4HANA plant maintenance. They are migrating to ERP. Then Ariba recommends to follow this commodity course as your commodity course. So you don't organize. So whatever there is some 36,000 or 40,000 data is there, whatever relevant from that list, you select and you use it. So basically, you're going to use the code and the description from the standard specification that is coming from UNSPSC. Clear? Okay, like we can define it like a code to differentiate the material or the commodities, right? Exactly, that's correct. Yeah. Okay. Basically, how do we identify a particular material with relevant group? So that group is commodity group. Okay. Sanjay, can you also show earlier? We have seen this commodity codes. How to change their item category if we want to change or assign to a material group. With one example maybe. Okay. So in my organization, when someone is creating when they are selecting this particular group, let's say they are selecting this one. Okay, 103. This is the item. When I go to the PR, when I select matte paper, the system is going to pick this commodity. And I want the users to force. This is a material. I can able to physically count it. I will maintain M for this. And for which company code in 1000 company code. And when the user is selecting it, this will be accounted as a project. Or stock, or let's say project, and then I will be adding GL ledger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the example, suppose out of this commodity someone is using. So there is a commodity called 80. This is services under 8010. This is of a higher transporter, something like we want to. Move from one place to earth, movers or something. They come under services category earth movers. Okay, when someone is creating a PO with the commodity 8010, I want to restrict him to select this material because this is not a material that he is going to perform. So he has to only select D. And this is applicable for the company code 1000. And when they select it, I want to be selected as the project only, and this is my GL account. GL account 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the user no need to enter this accounting information. So if I don't have this information when user is creating a PR, when he selects 80, then he is going to mismatch maybe. He will select material with the time of payment or when the accounting is settling it. They are going to get an issue because I don't know how many of you from finance, when you are preparing a balance sheet, when the system is you are showing an expenses, you have to categorize the expenses in a correct billing. If not, there are a lot of compliances as required. For example, I am purchasing a paper and I am booking under service when my general ledger has been prepared and sent it to the board of members. They might put a question. There is some standard regulation. So, sir, you are going to restrict. If it is a material, it has to be material. If it is a service, they have to be serviced. You are pre-defining that information in the system based on the commodity code. When a user goes to the system, creates a PR. When he selects this, automatically his choices are limited. He can only select material only. If he selects material And then what is the accounting information has to be triggered. So then user do not need to do the manual activity. So generally, what will happen when the finance settle it? They will be accounting into a correct one. So because the ERP and these are all the solutions which is already available. This information is predefined at the commodity level so that the accounts department no need to make any changes when they are doing a final settlement or payment to the vendor. Clear? Yes, this is a little bit of a finance topic, but knowing is better. Yes. Alright. Now I am coming to, we have discussed about receiving types. And then I am coming to invoice exception types. If you remember, I was telling that when invoice is received from the vendor, I am going to check in my PO some validations. What is that currency, for example? So when invoice is submitted, if the invoice currency is US dollars, but PO was created for INR, supplier is going to lose if it is a reverse. PO was created in INR, invoice has come in US dollar. If the account department, without checking the currency, if they settle it, we are almost paying 83% or 83 times of same exchange rate of US dollars. So to avoid this, Ariba knows already standard issues which come when we are reconciling an invoice. Again, this is a job of a finance team. So when they received an invoice, they will be checking currency, they will be checking the quantity, they will be checking unit price, they will be checking the total amount of the PO and available amount, and they are going to make the payment. Ariba already have these exceptions ready. You just need to decide which one needs to be applied. Okay, this is one method. This is very straightforward. Suppose I got a disturbance, so I have created a PO for INA, but supplier has sent me you help to get the field path. So you want to verify what is that information once you provide. They will give you this detail. Then you can enter that detail whether it is acceptable, not acceptable, and the system is going to perform. Whether you want to auto reject, ignore, and accept, skip exception. Who is the person going to take a decision in this scenario? Invoice manager will be assigned to this task and he will check with the buyer or he will reject the invoice. Suppose in your company it is not required, you can deactivate this role. Let's see one more, that is currency mismatch. Invoice currency mismatch, I am saying 2. What is the why I am saying 2? There will be a when I select this one, here may be the match. So here it is only for all. Document no, apply to all document and I select here. This may be specifically to certain particular document mismatch child 1 invoice agent. Okay, now I will show you. Suppose I am creating a brand new. I do get multiple options. What is the unique name? I'm just checking mismatch and this is the name of the exception. I will provide. What is the mismatch when I come here? Whether this exception needs to be checked at the header level or no. Suppose I am validating at a transport cost. So the transport cost comes under child. So I will not be selecting header. So when I select header, the values are checked only at the header level. When I say no, then the system is giving at what line item you want to do that. So that is basically handling charge. So in handling charge, what is the line? Type special handling invoice document. I just check this only on a purchase orders. Only not for the contracts under purchase orders, orders without the contracts, orders with the contract. I don't want without the contract. Only so you find invoices. How do you get the invoice? Is it from a regular order? Yes, apply to specific invoice types. What is that invoice? Standard invoice. Type these fields. I need to take help from Ariba. Then I can configure these things as soon as this. Issue triggers. I will be rejecting my invoice when submitted. The invoice will get rejected. No, then I am going to assign to a handler mismatch handler. So that could be invoice. Manager. Okay, I am going to assign to invoice manager. Requester allowed means yes, requester can change the PO or he can also take the decision. I am allowed when I click save. This exception will be cleared. Whenever there is an invoice is getting cleared, it will be available. So what is that clear? Any questions on the invoice exception? I'll just delete this mismatch and deactivate it. Okay, suppose in your system you can validate active as a no. What are all the exceptions? Available. Only one, only here. They have activated all great. Okay, removing the name, click on search. These are all the available. But this we are not using it. Suppose you feel you want to be activated again. You can do that. That's about invoice exceptions. Any questions? Sanjay, can you show an example like how to change the current threshold values? Let's say for shipping variants or handling variants, can you just show like how to think the values are maintained at your Arab system? Only not at this one, but there are some. What is that called? Can you come again that question? So let's say I want to change the threshold values. Current threshold values, yeah, tolerance, so import. Receiving tolerance by P. So generally we don't maintain in Ariba. Let's export this file. So this is the file where you will be having the thresholds. So nothing has been maintained here. This is where you are going to maintain over receiving. Percentage under receiving, percentage over receiving, quantity over receiving generally. We will maintain either percentage or by quantity. Suppose over receiving quantity means if I say 100, if I am allowing 10%, so 110 quantity will be accepted by the system, and you can also specify for which particular procurement unit or purchasing unit under receiving. Also generally, under receiving is not required, only over receiving only. We will maintain these exceptions. Clear? Yes, mostly this will be maintained in your app. Only what will happen when the document is sent to app will throw another saying that this quantity is not available. Then you will make the decision. Okay, if that invoice, your app is accepting it. Ariba, don't have any problem. It's only one more question. I'm sorry, but I think here in this text file, we can't see what is the current tolerance amounts, right? Nothing is said. By default, nothing was said. That's why we are not seeing anything here. So you mean to say like in the test environment, nothing, we don't have any exceptions. Yeah, as I mentioned in Ariba, we generally don't maintain receiving times or exceptions by default. There is one parameter when you having that parameter send is allowed. Let's look at that. So let's go to Intelligent Configuration Manager. Manage configurations, continue. I still see the notepad also. No, I'm sharing it. Okay, so how do you go? You go to Manage under Intelligent Configuration. Manage configuration. When you click, it will take you to this page, buying an invoice. I think I have explained this one right. In SM administration, when we want to change the parameter, discussed about it, I will go to the parameters. There is some parameter which shows the tolerance. I will enter yeah. So here you will be having set up tolerance percentage for line item. Price variance on service sheets validate receiving tolerance for import receipts only. These three only we have here, or over different threshold for over receiving percentage. So when I explain this node by default, specify the threshold for over receiving by percentage. This value is in an integer percent representing a percentage. By default 10% is allowed. Suppose if you want to make a change, you can do it, or this is which one? Self-service. You should be able to make this change. New value. Let's say I want to apply only 5%. If I make it 0, then the system will not allow over receiving percentage. Clear? But these changes will be applicable for all the exception types. No, you can read here. Specify the threshold for over receiving type. Only for the receiving under over. Only for over receiving only this one. Okay, so this is your parameters where you can find maybe there is one more. Also read drive set number of processes while assign your status. Specify the maximum number of times the process queue task for assign, import, pull request. No number of days to ERP orders. Specify the number of days during multiple readers are attempted for orders in ordering. States to cancelling state to be sent to ERP system. If you remember, I was saying that when we are sending an ordering, if there is a stuck in ERP, so how many times it has to say so? 5 attempts it will do. You can read if the order is not sent successfully to the ERP system in the specified number of days. It states as a permanently file to refine the return content as if it is able to run the process permanent. File 2. That's fine. The field is 1 to 60. So whether you can change this to how many times. You want to do 1 or 60 times, maximum 60 times Ariba will try to sign from Ariba to ERP. Beyond 60, if it is failed, then the status will move to permanently failed. Then after that we have to request Ariba to trigger any of this task. So you can, when you are having time, you can go through these parameters also or on need basis. You will verify there are certain parameters which SAP controlled. We will not able to modify the values in this scenario. You have to request the Ariba. So here also let's say if we have any overrated tolerance, exception, absolute incorrect inbound invoice, procurement budget tolerance. I'm confusing with my question. So, as I said, like because of 10, it is coming under exception. Now I have taken a blanket approval from the leadership team and they approved. First of all, why are you getting that many documents with this difference? Where is the mistake? Because there is a change in the contract amount, either the change in the locations. So it completely depends upon the ad hoc request, Sanjay. Sometimes non-catalog FIOs, due to the emergency, they order from a different. Do you want to allow or you don't want to allow? No, it's completely allowed, but it is triggering. Exception that you want to clear. Simple no. So you don't keep that exception when you go to the exceptions, deactivate it. Once you deactivate it, the system will not check the tolerance, but it will also deactivate if something is coming under more than $20. Okay, you want to keep up to $10. Only the exception to be followed. That is that you have to write to Adibab. Only you have to ask this is your requirement. Then they might give you an exception. Maybe it might be there. So let me select We will charge amount variance. Here you have this percentage tolerance. Let's see, I'm not sure. Because maybe this issue may not come once again, but there is options that available. Pure line item variance action, click on edit. Okay, here you have that values, which you are maintaining here. Where is this 0.1 here? So absolute tolerance, this tolerance. There is a logic for this. If you put it in help portal, the system will tell you, once you enter absolute tolerance within that range, then only this exception will come. If not, then system will not allow that. So you can define that and apply absolute tolerance to the difference. When there is a difference in this much, whether you want to do that, and what is the percentage? Here it is only 1% of the tolerance. You can change that to 2%. When the system verifies within this range, only that exception will be triggered. If you want to do the research, you can do this one. So there is an amount variance exception. Copy one exception and create that. Whatever you are creating, and create some samples and you will see the triggering also. Then here the tolerance is already there. Beyond this it will not. So what is the logic is, when I say 1 means the system will allow up to 1%, that is 1 minute. So I am recollecting that when we do it, suppose if I am maintaining 1 cent as the tolerance. Suppose invoice is sent for 100, system will validate somewhere like 1 to 99 within this range, 1 to 99 within this range. Exception will not be triggered beyond. Will trigger, then I need to change this amount here 1 to 2, 2% means 1 to 95 something, like that. The calculation is there. If beyond this value, then the exception will trigger. So in your case also, you need to define this tolerance percentage beyond. Thus, if it is coming, the system will not allow if you are maintaining this up to 99, as I mentioned, since that falls under 1% of the tolerance, system will allow it much more than that, system will stop. Clear? So we can define only in terms of percentage, but we can't define in terms of amount. There is a logic here. No, not possible amount. Because both are same only, whether you percentage or not. That's why I've shown you the logic. This is your amount, this is percentage. You have to map this percentage, then the value will be changed accordingly. You mean to say that 2710, that's not possible. Alright. Okay. So if the value of the PO is 1 million, then 10 is not a big amount. That way hard coding is not possible. So then you have to limit the difference between the PO and the invoice. That way you can define. So the difference has to be within this percentage. Like that logic, only you can build, not a hard, irrespective of the PO amount. So suppose if I create a PO for 10 when I am sending, shipping charges for 30. If you are accepting it, that's not the business case. Business case is 10, value of the PO is 10, and what is the one up to $1? I will accept it like that. Only you can able to configure. And just another question, can we also configure the exceptions basis vendor? Exception basis vendor, yes, I doubt receiving types. You can do that, but in invoice, exceptions 1 second, there is a supplier rule. Supplier rule is only in part number only. No. Invoice exception types. Click on Create New. If we are getting here, line item, regular line item type invoice source purchase orders. Orders with contract supplied to specific documentation. No, there is not specific to one particular vendor. It's not there. So it's a if you get here, field as a specific to supplier, and if you are able to select it, then that is possible, but by default we don't have it. By doing this, I'm not sure, maybe that is not the business. Ariba does not want to support, then for one vendor, you create some logic that anything you will accept it. So for others you don't do that, but it is, I'm not sure. Looks like line item level I was not able to create. Let me one more. Let's look at predefined requisition service. Yeah, any light item with commodity code. You have here in the system defined one itself. You have, what was the name? Sanjay, sorry. Here select predefined condition. Under predefined condition we go to line item has commodity or something any line item with commodity code. Okay, I can select which commodity code. Suppose if I want to, if the commodity code is bearings, then this exception will trigger any line item with the commodity code, either this or this. If I want to combination both these commodity means any are true. If I want both, all are true. So you can define multiple Sanjay, this memg 7, 8, 5, 41, only when 10. This is L3, L1, L2, L3. No, this is T3, 360 digits. This is the custom group, not a Unisp's code. Here you are seeing Unisp's commodity code 10, 10, 10. Okay, so I can be based on your, that is based on you. No, that is based on your value. If you want to change that, you can change that also. So how do I edit it? Select condition. I can change. It's a composite material if I search for. So this is the head of the commodity code. So it could be when I go to all commodity, this will be the hierarchy. Where can I find the id commodity? Because under it we might have multiple categories that you have in the system. You should find it, that you should not be asking me. I cannot go into that detail. No, here. In this example, at least this system don't have that commodity. Okay, so whatever available here that you can search, yeah, so it would be somewhere here, or you can search also like by IT name under all commodity. Under all commodities, you can go to IT commodities somewhere. That's also fine. Cleaning equipment. I saw cleaning equipment, a real estate one in the cleaning equipment. Yeah, anything. So as long as it is available, you can go with the hierarchy. Say, hey, this side, I keep on expanding it. I have 76 centines old. So Sanjay, if I select this industrial cleaning services, under this we have 76 sub-candidate. Everything will be coming right. That's correct. When you're selecting at the parent, it is applicable for all. Done. I think this is really helpful, Sanjay. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. In today's session, we are going to look at Catalog Manager. Before that, session 30. So what is the flow for catalog management? There are two types of catalogs loading. Now it is very used by the clients. One is uploading the catalog by the administrator. So in this scenario, what will happen? Administrator will be receiving the catalog file from the supplier and he will upload this in Ariba. So for that, what he needs to do, he needs to create a subscription first, create a catalog, subscription and load the file. And then if it is required, approve it. Once it is approved, then the system will show these catalogs to the buyers. And second method is uploading the catalog by supplier over SAP Business Network. Once they do that, and Ariba will sync the catalog network. Sync network catalog to Ariba. Buying portal. Once they do that, the catalog will come into Ariba buying portal. From there, once it is approved, this catalog will be available for the buyers to choose it. During the approval process, the administrator will verify whether the catalog prices of the catalog content is what needed or what is requested by the procurement department. If all fine, then the catalogs are available for the buyers. Now let us go ahead and see how do we create a subscription. And also we see how to sync the network catalogs into the ARIB phase. I will go to main edge. Administration, core administration. So catalog manager, suppose if you are having AFPC, federated process control, that means parent and child relationship. Then the catalog should be uploaded first in the parent side. After that, this will be automatically brought into the downstream or the child side. These are all the catalogs available in the system. You will know from which supplier, what is the name. This is catalog subscription name. How many versions are available in the past? Only one active version will be available. Whenever they update the catalog, that version will appear here. So if you want to create a catalog, new subscription, importing a new catalog by creating this option, create new catalog subscription. Before that, I will just show you one sample file. I will go to number of items. So this is your number of line items in a catalog. I will select some file with 13. Okay, there is an option here to export the tool. Mostly the catalogs were available in CF format, which is easy to read it. Catalog interchangeable file format. CXML, so you need some assistance from the browser or the tools to the loading file. So on file format CF, select the file. So I am just selecting a random file, downloaded file catalogs, click on open. As I mentioned, when you are having a zip file, this is an option. If you do not load zip file, then the file name will be displayed and you will not see the text image of the catalog. Once I click on import system, system will do the validation back to catalog form. I will go by the supplier CTX. April 25. CTEX all commodities. Question 1 new to the buyer. Now I will select this item. Obviously I will get an error, send for an approval. That is this activate or send for an approval. So then system will verify. If there is an error, it will put me into the issue that might be currently activated. Once the catalog has obtained, it will take little time. I will just send for an approval. It is still loading the file. So how can I edit? Some issues are there with this file. How can I edit it? I will remove this one. Look at the same file, we will take it 13. This is already activated. This is the tool available for the managing the catalog. The first one is second is the editing tool where you are going to see the details of the item. Suppose if I want to make any changes, show or hide fields. Here you can include whatever the flow fields which is available in the catalog screen. Once I make this view, then I will click the next one, validation tool here. The system will verify if there are any errors. If there is an error, the system will give me a prompt when I click the edit option. Then I can able to edit the content in the second option. So unfortunately all are good. Then I can import. Sorry, these are all the editing. Posts. This is for import and this is for exporting it. That is how you can activate catalog subscriptions. Now second, catalog kits. You can also create similar items as a kit item, so that when a user is purchasing one item, automatically all the kit content will be added to the purchase requisition. It is also possible. Suppose one kit is having 5 items. I can also edit that particular kit before submitting my purchase requisition. So kit will help you to commonly purchase the item grouping as a one kit, and so that it is easy to add it instead of adding that 6 items. Every item, frequently purchased item, can be configured as a kit. So if you want to see the kit content, click on that kit name. You will able to see the kit content. Only one item is here, and summary, the total price of the item also will be visible. I will just show you how to add a kit by going to the bottom, click on create. What is the? If I have an expiration date, I can also mention that. So after the expiration date, this kit will not be available for the buyers. I will select what commodity it belongs. Then I will go to kit content. Add item. Randomly, I will add a few items to the catalog kit. So 1, 2. Then I will go back to books. And home. So these two items will be purchased together. When I go to the summary, I should see the total cost of the kit. I will click on same, but system will ask me to select from the same vendor its supplier value. So whom I am purchasing, corrugated distributed. Alright, so I was unable to sell the kit. Supplier. Once you save, then that kit will be saved into the library. Alright, now the next one, catalog validation rules. Suppose when I importing the catalog, what are all the fields important to me, or what are all fields mandatory to me, that you are going to do under catalog validation here. Whatever you see here enabled as S. These are all the catalog field names. We have seen that in the file, so this is additional. Part ID, classification, content, unit, etc., which is available. Suppose I want to make one field, whether it is a mandatory or not, by going to the editing option, by clicking on action, clicking on edit the rule. So classification for the supplier TCS company code is required as yes. I am not getting the option to edit. Okay, now. So these are all your activations. Wherever required is S by sorting by. So additional part, ID classification code, content default different description. If I upload a file and that file do not have a value, then the system will stop me pushing me another. So this is where I'm going to decide what is mandatory field when I'm uploading a catalog. Not all the fields which I have shown is not mandatory. Whatever mandatory here, these files needs to be have in your catalog file. So it is possible that exception can be given for particular suppliers also. For example, green. This is a field name AI Infotif Limited. This is yes. For others, it is not mandatory. Suppose if I want to make this mandatory for all action, edit the rule. I will make it. Value as true. Required as yes for OK. I have to 1 second. This is supplier specific rule green. So why I am not saying that create condition. I will say disable the rule. Let's say for example, this rule I am going to disable now. Now let's edit. Actually, I should be getting an option to create a new one also, but some reason I am not getting here. Okay, so this is the place where you are going to make which are all the fields is mandatory for you under catalog validation. Then catalog views. So catalog views means in your company who can access the catalog and who cannot access the catalog. Basically, when I logged into the system, I am from an IT user. If it is showing me bearings, grease, chemicals, which is used in production, that makes no sense to me. I don't need that items to be visible to me. Similarly, I am a production employee. I look after the materials, spare parts related to the production. I do not worry about software services, computer services, IMC services. These catalogs are not relevant to me. If you want to classify the catalog according to the users, this is the place we are going. To bring the catalog views, if you do not maintain any constraints, then all catalogs are visible to all the users. That is by default. So adding a constraint. Here, for example, I have add constraint. This is a huge activity. You will understand this. When I am adding a catalog, you can read this one. Each filter type. There are 4 options that are available and also, let us see. First of all, I am going to select the group. Let us say project group. This is our procurement team. If a user belongs to procurement and optionally cost center, also he belongs to a logistic cost center, then for him start with view nothing. This is the formula. What it is going to show is show only the following catalogs to users with procurement team group and logistic cost center. If a user belongs to these two, then I am going to select the catalogs available in the system. Only those catalogs only will be shown to the user. If I select the second option, show only following catalogs to the users without procurement team and without logistic call center. This is opposite of what we have selected first. And the third one, hide following catalog. In the first scenario, I was showing the catalogs. Now I am hiding the catalogs so that these catalogs will not be visible to these suppliers. Similarly, opposite of this, hide the following catalog from users without procurement team and logistics. Using this constraint, I can able to create constraint for visibility of the catalogs to the members. Hierarchy editors. What is hierarchy editor? When I go to the navigation, I was looking at office product. Once I click on office product, it takes me to the office supply. Inside office supply, I will see paper product. This is something very similar to your commodity hierarchy. In the catalog hierarchy, you can define it. For example, I want this paper product also available under some other area. Where is that? Maybe I want to have under miscellaneous maintenance and report or books and pharma forms and printed media. Here I want it. In printed media, I want the subscription. So I'm going to select this one and I'm going to paste as a child or a peer. Peer means in the same level. Child means below the printed media. This will be added. Now you can see below the printed media, paper products also added. So like that, you can change the hierarchies of how the items are displayed from this particular screen. Once you make the changes to the hierarchy, we have to perform more activity. This is also a tremendous job because making the changes, there will be so much hierarchy that all needs to be updated to all the catalogs. Cancel all and save changes. Let us assume that I have made some changes to the hierarchy, then manage for administration. Now I am in upstream or parent site, not upstream parent site. Under catalog manager, catalog hierarchy editor, once I make the changes to the hierarchy, then I have to come to index builder and run this index builder. Clicking on rebuild will reshuffle all the hierarchies and all the catalogs available in the system to that particular navigation. This activity has to be done during off days because this will impact the system performance. You can read this. Rebuild the indexing during off business hours as the process can take several hours. Click the rebuild button if you are sure you want to rebuild. But we don't do this for practicing per personal. Leave it. Okay, generated subscription. What is generated subscription? This we are going to see in downstream only, and I mean in the child realm. In contracts, we are creating release orders and no release order. There we are selecting create catalog subscription. Ariba is going to create the catalog based on your contract information. That catalogs you can able to find under generated subscription. I will quickly show you after this. And then currency map. Suppose you are having a currencies in your system and your supplier is maybe using some different currency, let's say internal currency. I will search for INR. This is how I am using internal currency. But when the supplier is sending me as rupees, then I will be marking that as INR. Even the link. So rupees capital, rupees small INR, INR. This mapping, I can able to do that. Suppose when my supplier sends me a catalog with the currency as INR, I am going to treat that as INR internally. The same way, units of measurement mapping also. So good example would be each. Some people will call P, some people will call 1 or something like that. So I can also map each. Description each. So each per month also. EC stands for each per month. I am selecting each and I am searching for the system. You can see A to A fine. Some people call as a piece that is mapped to each. Per piece that is also mapped to each in my system. So I am considering that as a each commodity. That you can each units of measure. Catalog replication. This is where you are going to decide which catalogs needs to be available in your child system. If you are having multiple, you will be getting an option to configure. When I go to the configuration, I can see these are all the parent and child. Suppose if I don't want one catalog, let's say catalog Kiran V printers, this catalog I want to unsubscribe. So what will happen for this particular child? This catalog will not be available. Which child? When I go to the system site, this is the child site C1 test. For this C1 test, the catalog will not be available. I can also see what are all subscribed, what are all not subscribed in the bottom. Once I go to the, I think in the configuration unsubscribe, so this catalog will not be available. So suppose if user is saying that I am not seeing this catalog, just check whether the subscription has been there for the child or not scheduled. Task, click on list all Ariba network full synchronization. So this task when you are running will pull all the catalogs available in supplier network into SAP Ariba. This will be done automatically sometime if the catalog is not coming to you or you want to quickly take that catalog. Suppose supplier has loaded catalog right now and he called you. Say, I have published a catalog for you. Can you please check that? So then you can run this task. Then system will try to pull all the catalogs available in the network into your buying system. Once it is there, then you can find that information under catalog, whether you have received the catalog and the last modified date also. This is catalog manager. Now I will go to the child system just to show you generated subscriptions as well. Manage. Now in child REM manage core administration catalog manager. Suppose if you are loading a catalog, then this catalog is only available in the child only. So that's the reason you have to upload in parent. That will automatically get synced to child also. Generated subscription. Here you are going to find all the contract related ones. Once your contract is expired or the contract amount is expired, utilize then automatically. The contract will be deactivated by the system on it. If you find, for example, the latest name say MT66. So when I click this, contract subscription name, it will take me to the contract version 1, version 2. Version 2 of the contract. How many line items are there? There are 1 line item. So this is the same tool. Suppose there is an error warning. Classification code A123 is not compatible. When I go to the next one, I can edit this one OK. By coming here pre-validation tool, that is it. Generally, I will be getting that issue. If that is not allowed, email address will happen. Email will be sent to the supply generally, but here we have to fix it. We have to go to the content and make the changes. Let's see if I can change. When I go to edit tool, maybe I am not the owner of this document. When I go to edit tool, I should be able to edit that particular line item, make the changes. Also, alright, then write a subscription and then catalog replication. So here from a parent you can subscribe or in the child also. Once you go to the bottom, you will see this catalog is not subscribed. You can subscribe from here also. I will click on subscribe. Then this catalog will be subscribed in child realm as well and go to catalog manager catalogs. Encode new catalog. So here you see here Excel. It's already there by selecting Excel. Permit, you can upload the Excel itself. Okay, seeing the screen, yeah. So use this option by default. They give CIA funds, CXML, because many people face the same issue. Then now they allow to upload via excellent. So then once you in the test environment, you upload the file which is received from your supplier. Whatever the fields you are making an inconsistency, maybe he is not giving you an expected format. You educate him. So hey, this field, I have an issue. Please give me in this format, and you provide the template and then use the same file to upload it. Clear? Yeah, but I think at present we don't have an option to contact the SAP at present with my current room. So we have a different team and they have understood. I understood. Only option is you have to copy paste the values in this file over there. So if you're looking for how to open that in a text format, that is very simple. So we will go to File, click on Open. I'm selecting one Excel file. Let's select Data Display. A random file I will select. Yeah, data. There is an Excel file is available. I am opening it. It is getting corrected. I will do one thing. You want to open the file in. Actually, if you have a text file, opening that in Excel, I am aware. Opening the Excel file in text. This is something new. Let me just try the other option. File open and no, you are asking a reverse file. Suppose if you are opening a text file in Excel, then you can use the delimiters or the tab or spaces. Then you can able to open the file. An Excel file. In text, you will face these issues. Unfortunately, not possible. Correct. I thought like if you have any suggestions or tips, only suggestion is put Google and try to use converters, Excel converters to text file converters. The problem is the company. They don't keep that access. Yeah, exactly. Even that page also will be blocked. Correct, correct. The next option is once you open the file, let's say, I have some values like this. If I copy this is challenging Zapier. That's one-time tracing. Actually, these kind of things, we should not be doing it. Only waste like this, only copy and paste. Only now you open that Excel and try to paste it. But you have to mark it under, say, relevant field, and so that is a challenge, correct? Okay, so I understand that. Okay, then there is a tool which is available as a notepad editor that will provide lot of options. Maybe you can try importing Excel or something like that. There will be an option here so that you have to find the solution on there. So there are tools available, online tools, which will convert your Excel into text. That is one of the tool is Notepad Editor or a I have never used, but I have hired my team. So in downstream only you will face this issue. There are commodity codes, 70,000, 80,000 commodity codes are there. They will ask you to rename or something. So that time my team struggled like anything. So they can select like this also. For example, one field. So I can continuously I did not do that. You will select this control, shift, alt something when you class and when you can able to draft down. So only these 3-line items will be copied. So that you had to Google and find out only. I don't have any other option. Alright, let's connect tomorrow. If you don't have any questions. Sorry. Regarding the catalog approval flows, Sanjay, I just joined 5 minutes late. I'm sorry. I'm not sure if you have covered like how do we send the cat once I upload a catalog. I want that to come to me for the approval flow. If anyone in the organization is uploading a catalog, I, as a catalog manager, want to approve it. Where is the approval process? Here you will be having one type called STU Supply Data Update. Click on Search. So this is your catalog approval. So if you are getting here, this is the place you are going to find that. So if you go to the drop catalog approval processes, open that particular document here, you can configure the node. You can say that all the catalog has to go to you. Add yourself as an approval here. Then whenever some changes have happened on the catalog, you will be getting the approvals. This is also an approval process. Yeah, approval process. This is called Supply Data Update SDU. So if the catalogs are submitted, because that is supplier only sending you the catalogs. And second is manage. That is, this is the place and second your approvals catalog. When you are importing the subscription itself, you are doing that approval skip, approval no by default. It will go to the group called Catalog Manager. You need to be part of the Catalog Manager group, then that will come. Not at the catalog level. Yeah, and Sanjay, how about the punch out catalogs? Can you show one example like how to enable those, how to work on those? Because right now we have a lot of new companies acquired in the current company and they are using their websites. Actually, that is also same thing, only when you are importing the catalog, the URL you need to give there, it's only one subscription, only one URL you need to give there, and that URL will take you to the puncture session. So even I'm not working on that. So maybe you can use the helpful portal to find out more on that puncture catalog, because this is a specific only. So generally this is the place. But how exactly to do this and all? Even I'm not aware of that. Because, and I know what you have shown is the in-house catalogs, right Sanjay? In-house catalogs and the supplier generated subscription. Catalog is sent by. Okay, I'm not sure whether your supplier is doing that. So if he is creating the punch out catalog subscription, that is also same only. So via generated subscription, you will receive the catalog. Once you activate it, that catalog has to be maintained by the supplier. You don't need to do that activity. Only thing is when you're browsing through, the system will take you to the supplier site. You will punch in the item and you will come back to your purchase requisition. Then remaining approval process and everything will be same only. So whether that is a level 1, level 2. So if I want to play a game, I will put to the my supplier. You create and send it to me. I will approve it. If you want to load as a punctured catalog, then you have to depend on catalog. And you can find out that information, more information. Right now, you said like subscription catalog, right? Can you just show once if you don't mind this? No, that is in the business network. Supplier where he is giving you the proposals and order confirmation. Right in that he will be loading the catalog. In tomorrow's session, I will show you where is that screen comes. And do you also have any documents with you for this? No, I don't have any of that. If possible, can you share that so that I can go through it? When you go to the login into Ariba, you enter your username and permission. You go to the catalog section. Here you can able to search all the catalogs available over network. You are able to see my screen. Yes, you can click on all. Even the supplier, he is not sending it to you. So some supplier says that if you want, you go there and search it. So in that scenario, you have to come to catalogs from the current, you click on search tab. Under all, you enter the name of the supplier and find out what are all the catalogs available, whether it is punctured catalog about catalog, then you will be getting an option to subscribe to that particular. Yeah, this is the filter public catalog, private catalog. Public catalog means anybody can log in, and like we log in into the BIOS network and we will subscribe to that catalog. Private catalog means he has sent to us only. So specifically, he might have modified the prices and all. He has sent it to you. So the date publish. You can select all filter once you find out. The after that screen, I don't have it because that is customer information. That's why in that subscription, you will be getting an option to click on subscribe. Once you subscribe, anytime the supplier loaded and it will come to network. It has validation rules. You can also configure supplier validation rules in the business network. If it satisfies, that catalog will be available in your buyer. In a catalog manager, that catalog will be available to you. Clear your lucky man here. This is the first person asked me, and this screenshot I have just created only to show how a buyer network looks like. But the relevant screen was available. That's why I was able to show. Right now, I don't have a buyer access. That's why I could not able to get more details. Otherwise, I could have taken some screenshots. No current project. I'm only working on upstream only. Tables also. So how do you go to Ariba? Either you can go to Help Ariba.com or enter Connect Ariba.com. It will take you to this page. Earlier it was connected. It was taken directly now. It is moved under SAP Ariba Connect. When I click this Ariba Connect, this is the login button. Click on that. It will take you to the SAP for me. I have not captured the latest file. SAP for me, that is a unified portal for all the SAP support. Inside SAP there is a file which says Ariba Procurement for SAP Ariba. Once you click the tile, it will take you back to the older side. This is Connect Support Ariba.com. So this is the page where you are going to find form answers, cases, release information, administration, more information. All the information about Ariba can be found from here. So if you have a question, you can enter that question. Ariba will provide you very prompt results. Unlike Help.com, Connect will give you more precise answers. That will be sufficient before you raise with a ticket with Ariba. Suppose you have some problem, one transaction is not moving. When you come here, enter the detail system will give you. Are you trying to do a requisition? If you say yes, what is the issue? They will give you the option. Once you select that, the recommended solution also will be available. Once you choose that solution, then you don't need to raise a ticket. If you still not found, then you can raise a ticket. That's called cases. With the cases, we have to provide as information as possible. Suppose when you are providing a ticket, you have to attack screenshots like how this issue was coming. Is it coming for the first time? Are there any changes in your ERP or any environment? How to do this step? Suppose the consultant from their end. If you want to test in your system, what is the steps you want to follow? So you can provide like, click on create, click on requisition and enter purchase organization. Then I'm getting this error. So then they will able to troubleshoot easily. So try to provide as much as information. And in this site, you also have release information. Ariba product features. New features will be released over a period of 3 months and all. That can be found from under release information. What are all the new features are coming? Whether that features are enabled by default. Or if you want to use that feature, what needs to be done? Do you need to enable a parameter? All the information is available here. This is also one of the reasons Ariba is asking you to take state current examination to keep updated with the latest releases. Now, as you are aware, Ariba is now 2012, almost 12 years have already completed. Now they are in a good phase mode, giving lot of features, lot of benefits to the clients. They are improvising lot of things, bringing AI into the application, making new screens. All those things Ariba is trying to provide. That is also you can find. And in order to get this access, you need an access called DSC, Designated Support Contact. That will be given to your client. Your client will be given to you. With that permission, only you will be able to raise the ticket. Earlier, only for the system, only 3 people can be provided DSC. But now I heard that there is no limitation. Now any number of people can be given DSA access so they can connect with the Ariba to get the support done. Some screenshots for your adjust reference. When you click on this tile, Manage Cases, you will see all the tickets raised by you or your team members. Documentation and learning that is moved into SAP Help portal. You can simply open from Help subcom. You don't need any dependency on Connect. Critical incident. Then suppose you have identified one bug, your user is not able to log in into the system. Then you want to raise a ticket. When you go there already, you are checking on a critical incident. Suppose if any other client has updated and Ariba found out that this is a global issue or particular data center issue, you are affected. You can find that information under critical incident. If you are also affected, then you don't need to raise a ticket. You follow that critical incident when the issue has happened. What is the solution they provided? Whether it is fixed or not, all information can be found from critical incidents. Release readiness we just informed. Announcement. SAP is announcing any events happening in your territory. You can participate in that event. Mostly, the client will be getting the invitation. They can participate in a regular meeting where SAP will be highlighting the new product enhancement that they are planning or the roadmap of the future they will be discussing. Every year they will be conducting in different places in Bangalore, Malaysia, Singapore, like that. If you are interested, you can participate in that seminars or that events, also SAP community like you. If there are members that there, you can contribute over some questions. You can ask if one of your peers can do that. Hey, I feel that Ariba is not supporting this, or I have some custom this one. How can I achieve this one? You can post a question to the community. If any of the function is there, they can respond to you. Working with support. Whatever I just discussed will be available over a document. How best you can connect with the support that you can be found. The last one, customer influence. This is also called enhancement. You feel that one of the features is not available in Ariba, but you feel if that feature is available, it would be great. Or you raise the ticket and Ariba said that by standard functionality, we don't have this feature. If you want, please raise the customer influence ticket. So when you raise a customer influence ticket, so this will be considered by SAP and the code will be developed and that will be tested. And that will be included in future releases. If Ariba feels that that is an important feature. Also, in order to get your ticket onto a priority, you might need to inform your colleagues or your other friends, telling them, hey, I have row IZ1 customer influence. Can you please vote it? So the number of votes, they are getting more. That will be second. Because they already have a huge number of customer influence tickets. In order to get which one on a top priority, they are considering based on the votes also. If they have a highest vote, that will be taken on a priority. So this is general documentation. It is the same when you are helping in a help portal also. So this is older one. It was taken under, which is 2023 November releases. When you click the procurement feature, you will be getting all the procurement related features coming in the particular product release. This is about connecting with the support, and I do have one more Ariba buyer screenshots. So Ariba buyer screenshots means like how we are accessing Ariba spend management. This yesterday I have discussed also. Suppose if you are having Ariba buying solution, then you will also provide it like supplier. You will also provide it buyer login. Once you get the buyer login, this is the place. Say buyer become Once you have the username and password, you will be having this access. So here you can see, for example, I have sent PO from Ariba Spend Management to the supplier, and supplier is saying that he has not received. If you want to make sure whether it is received or not, then you log into Buyercom and find that purchase order is available here. That means it is successful from SAP. Friend management to the network. Only the issue is within the network. Supplier is unable to save. Or if you have not received in the network itself, the supplier is saying is correct. You go into your system. Make sure that the PO has ordered status like that you can use for buyer for many things. You can also configure supply trading relationship and also configure business transaction room. For example, I am creating a purchase order. So when I am creating a purchase order, I will be sent to the supplier. Supplier receives and provides an acknowledgement. However, supplier in his business transaction rules, like what we are seeing, is explained. He has configured that he will not accept revised POs or version 2 POs. He will not accept. Why? It could be his business practice. Once PO received, like no returns accepted somewhere, something like that. So he will give it to the process department. They will process and they will deliver it. If anything you want to communicate, you have to check with the supplier first, and then you have to send a PO. In such scenarios, if he is not accepting it, that is, he is configuring business transaction rules. Similarly, as a buyer, you can also configure certain rules. What are all that? Some sample. I don't want to accept invoices created on today with the past date. I don't accept it. So when they're creating an invoice, there has to be today date only so that I will get advantage on the payment terms. So that is all. You can also configure under your business transaction rules. So this is your page. You can see what are all. I can see form, workbench orders, fulfillment, invoices, payment, catalog, supply and enablement, etc. On the top you have buyer. Network right. You can able to change to Ariba proposals and question IAS. Contract management, again business network in the business network. These are all the purchase orders. So I'm showing an example of purchase orders. What is the value? What is the date? What is the status? On status of the purchase order, new means freshly received, changed means new. Version has been under process. Received means goods received has been performed, and invoice means invoice is also done from the purchase order. Same screen will be seen to the supplier. Also, he goes to the order number, click on these three buttons and he clicks on create invoice. So that is how he is going to create a over business record. Also catalogs, as I mentioned, network. Catalog, when the supplier is giving me the catalog. Let us see this here, all the supplier. They have provided me the catalog. When was the time they have submitted? If it is a public catalog, I can go here and then subscribe. If it is private catalog, which we have sent it to me, I will verify that information available here and I will cross check in my catalog manager whether I am receiving the latest or not. If I am not receiving the latest, I will click on Ariba Network Synchronization. Then the catalogs available in the buyer will be received by Spend Management Supplier Enablement. Suppose you don't have an upstream you want to start enabling with the supplier. The first instance is Purchase Adder. When you send a purchase, Adder Ariba will send a link and he can able to activate it. But before sending a purchase, Adder, I want to do a transaction with the supplier. Then you can use supplier enablement. You can go to the supplier enablement, find out all the suppliers available in the network. Search for the supplier and try to send a relationship, and you are getting engaging with the supplier. Using network, you can communicate with the new supplier, which is not in your business scope catalogs we just discussed. This is just for information. When you are going to an Ariba consultant, if some client entry is asking, you should not be in a position that no, I am not aware, you can say. That I am aware, but I have never have hands on that. I only have on a Ariba spend menu. That way you can cover up payments. You can see the payment statuses, how much is the amount, and all those things, active relationship. So who are all the suppliers we have connected that you can find under active relationship. You can also define supplier group like raw material supplier, customer supplier, spare parts supplier, like that. You can group them and you can get the classification rules specifically for that. This is the one I was talking about, business transaction rules. You can set up the logo. You can default transaction rule. This is called business transaction rule under. Here you can decide whether the payment comes or allowed and where you want to receive the email notification. When there is a failure on a purchase order, when there is something, you can update the email address. So there all the notifications also will come. Alright. So I have covered, and you are asking me about supplier enablement workbook. So that is also I got it. Let me share. Sanjay, one thing, the certification, one that you showed us, right? So like, will you be sharing us those information separately in the material, or we can get it like anywhere in the search? Which one? The certifications that you can use the public only. SAP certification, you can search in and then system will guide you. There is nothing, you have a dependency. Okay, the other one, practice. One a prep come. I'll put it in the chart. Maybe you can note down or you can Google now and bookmark that page also. Yeah, I'm just searching. Actually, yeah, app come. Exactly. Or just go back my video and you can pause that and you can take down. Okay, we can get that in Google, right? Yep, that's what I want. So see, they want business. So the more number of people they are looking, so you will easily be able to find out. Now there is one more good file which I am going to share that will be giving strategic sourcing deployment description guide. Okay. So hope you are seeing this book. So this I am going to share it. When you are in time, you go through it. Or once you practice, you can go through this. This is how a project is deployed in Ariba. Hope you are able to see screen. This file I am going to share. Yes, sir, don't worry. This file I am going to share with you. Whatever the notes file I have, that will be sharing. This file deployment description I am going to share. There is one enablement workbook. These three files you will be receiving from Cloud team. I will be sharing with him and you are going to get it. This was asked specifically by Vivek. So for him I was able to find out on Epic. So you can read whatever SAP Ariba. What is that? Cloud service, deployment services. Who is going to provide Go Live? What is Go Live? What is AX? What is project introduction? Some important thing. So Ariba follows Activate methodology. Under Activate methodology, there are 5 phases. The first phase is Prepare phase. Here you are going to confirm goals, scope and rollout plan. And what is SAP's responsibilities and what is customer responsibilities. Standard deployment overview, provide project charter. This is either SAP will provide or consultant or the support SP implementation company, they are going to provide and explore. Phase, the next phase. So the first phase is you are going to find out what is this project is about. And you agree to certain things and you are going to do the kick up. Who is going to sponsor? Who are all the participants? All these things will be discussed during preparation phase. In the explore phase, you are going to provide overview of the features and functionality of the cloud service, provide data collection, review the completed time. But here, mostly in explore phase, you are going to decide whether you are going to with sourcing module or Ariba suite or Ariba contract management, whatever the modules you are going to switch. Most of the cases you are going to decide in explore phase. Once it is done, during your realization phase, your systems are configured using your test. Cite all the URLs and all those things and test system and user acceptance. You are going to perform the templates, configure the templates, present the training, and the user will do the testing and they will provide. Yes, we are good with this thing. Then the next stage would be deployment. So deployment is before go live activity. You are going to prepare what are all you need to do for the production. Once you get a UAT confirmation, one thing, do you have integration tracker as well? If you can show us how it actually looks like. We did not discuss, right? Okay. My bad. Also, Sanjay, I think on Ariba Guided Wine, we haven't touched a lot on it. Oh, thank you. I'll do one thing. So let's see if we can able to cover. Otherwise, we'll keep one session on Monday. Give me 1 second. Let me log in. Sanjay, also the interview questions and resume building. Now we resume building. This team will support interview questions also. I can say that is also let's discuss. Okay, give me a second. Let me know down what is pending. Disqualification also. There is a pending. It will also maybe 1 second. What is the other one? Interview questions. What is the last one you are saying? Blanket. Blanket PO, we have covered that one. So if you want to practice it, you can go there and create the practices. If you are facing any issues, you can tell me. So when you are creating a contract compliance, select blanket PO and enter the line item detail and create the POs using that. Disqualification, that one thing we want to discuss. So I have that. I am unable to find that PDF, but there is already available in a standard documentation. Okay, so Sanji also CIG integration part that I am going to show right now. Okay. So in this file, there is a shoes. For example, if a supplier is preferred for shoes, later disqualified for apparels, the preferred status of the shoes is automatically removed. So instead of disqualification, I was saying that suppose if the supplier was disqualified for this item, even the hierarchy, whatever he belongs, will be removed. Likewise, if a supplier is preferred for apparel and later disqualified for shoes, the preferred status of apparel is automatically removed. So suppose I have a hierarchy like shoes and apparels are coming under one structure. If I disqualify him for the lower level also, he is going to remove preferred level for the higher level aspect. That is the design. So because Ariba do not recommend. Once a disqualification is approved, any preferred status for the disqualified commodities, region and departments is automatically removed. The rationale is that supplier cannot be considered preferred if they are disqualified for whatever the reason, through whatever the means, any hierarchical level within the same combination. That is what I want to try to tell. Clear on the disqualification part. So can it be added later? Just in case. Yes, you can do that later. Yes. So because you have disqualified him, the preferred status is removed. Later, once he qualified again, then you can make the preferred status again. there is no problem. In order to get case tracker, so manage administration. If it is parent, you are going from parent. If it is for child, you can go from child also. Both are same only. Once I go here, when I go to integration manager, intelligent configuration. Sorry guys. Integration manager gateway for spend and network. Earlier, the name is KIAC, Cloud Integration Gateway. Now, Ariba has been renamed as Managed Gateway for Spend and Network. Spend means Ariba Spend Management. Network means buyer network, which we have just seen the screens, right? This is the same place. When I click this one, so which data center this was enabled, you will going to see what are all. The interface is enabled for this, and when you click this one, the View SAP Integration Gateway, it will take you to another page. From there, you can able to monitor the tractor. So it's opening. Alright. So here generally the transaction factor is available. So this is the place. You are going to check. You will be in production system. You will be having test as well as production. Since this is only available in test system, we are seeing only test. And last one day, data when I click search, whatever the transaction sent from your spend, management to backend system can be visible here. Since the data is not there, I will select. So some people are practicing it. So that client they are using CI. So they are connecting this one. So I have the data. When was the last 512? What is that? Has sent business partners through replication. That means the vendor ID is getting replaced. Sorry, getting since from professor's RSA. Test site to for client 100. The status is failed as we are aware because the system is not connected. You can go by. What are all the document statuses? Whether it is completed, error, only you want. To find error transaction, you can find that. Copy, fail or processing. You can find that details and suppose now you have fixed that issue. You have established the connection. Now Sforatiana client is ready. This one, click on reprocess either inbound or an outbound. Select outbound. Then system will try to send the document for one more time so that you can do this activity only for last 30 days. So not possible to find the data. Even when you keep the data older data also, CIG maintains only last 30 days data only. Suppose you send one PR which is stuck in the system up to 30 days, the data is available. Beyond 30 days of the creation date, the data will be purchased. You will not able to do from CIG. You have to repush from Ariba and then it will come to CIG. You can able to reprocess by selecting that clicking on report. This is the mostly our activity to do this work. As an Ariba consultant, when something is failure, you verify the source system and you find that that document, whether it is received in CIG, means from SAP Ariba Spend Management to CA. It is connection is correct if your ERP is not receiving. Then there is a problem between CAG to ERP. Then you will inform the integration consultant to check it, even if they receive the document back in ERP and they are not sending back to CAG. You can find that information. That is also the responsibility of guy or the integration guy until he receives via CAG. After receiving CAG to Ariba, that is again integration. Consultant responsibility, you can try reprocessing it. If the successful, then you are going to receive the document generated in SAP Ariba. Alright, so if you want to learn more about the configuration, this is the place you are going to find my configurations. Okay, so these are all the integrations available in this system. They have been configured. Connections, how many connections with they have practicing for that? That's why you are saying so many. One another tool is connectivity tool. In connectivity tool, I am going to select this system connection name. Click on Test. Because A is left. S400 line from that test system. I just want to check inbound and downbound. Click on Test. We know that there is not connection. That is why we are seeing a failure. Now it is checking from the inbound, so you have to push some test data from your back system. If it is successful, you are pinging from back system. If it is pinging, then you will be able to see that. So once you have sent from that, you can check that. So both the ways it is not there. If it is tick mark, then connection is fine. Then you don't need any integration consultant. Go to the transaction, you can do that. If there is a failure, you inform your network team or the interface team to check on what is the problem. Maybe some setting is not enabled or it was disabled or something. They are going to troubleshoot. This is never going to be an Ariba consultant job. Only thing is after we go to the transaction packer. Click on Reprocess. That is our job. Then I go to the home page. Other things. You can also find that how many projects are processed. How many integrations are created. All these things you can able to find from here. Clear any questions? To purchase orders and CC to any issues we need to check here only if you want to check whether. It has. So the flow is what if there is a failed purchase order. So if it is trade, purchase address. From Ariba, we are not connecting CA. If to send it to the support, then that is directly a native. We don't do via CIG only. CIG is involved with your ERP system only from your system to ERP system. Suppose you send from Ariba, your ERP is not received. Then you come to CIG and check the document. So the document type can be found from here. Order status update, order request, order confirmation. Click on that. When you click search, all the order confirmation documents are found. Both inbound and outbound will be visible here and find the document and click on that. These are all the interfaces which was available for configuring from production system. Sorry, Ariba system to your ERP system. What is the difference between this EIG and supplier network? Is this the same? EIG, this one supplier network. I have shown you the screenshots, right? In the buyer screenshot, default transaction it's 7. That is supply network. Or when you are sending a quotation, where the supplier is providing the responses, that is supply network. The suppliers accessing the portal and providing the proposals and questionnaire, that is supply network. Clear? Yes, Annie. So now we left with guided buying. Let me see if I can able to access guided buying from the screen. So when you go to the buyer child system, change buyer to GB. This is one shortcut method. You want to go to guided buying unless you are having a URL. Sometimes in the home page, they will be providing link to the CIG. Yeah, so this is the link. I don't think this is correct. Someone has renamed it. Just clicking that in a window. Yeah, that page does not exist. Someone has put a wrong page. Never mind. You change the buyer to GB enter. If you are having GB access, it will take you to the guided buying page. So we are lucky. So guided buying, Ariba, Guided buying is only given for users who do not frequently use. For frequently use, like the senior resources or sourcing agent or all the other people who very regularly do the access to the system. They only use classic buying only, not a Ariba. Guided buying. Why? For the casual buyers where they feel that there are many features or many functions which they struggle to follow on. So this is the page only for the casual buyers. In guided buying, so what is that? I am going to do that in the home page. I have seen only less things on it. I will click on paper. It will take you to the sub level. So under paper, there is a bandage. Under bandage, there is some items. Let's see it happening. They have wrongly classified something. Once I see that item, then I can add that item to the cart. Let's say add to the cart. So this is much simplified interface. Rather than create, click on requisition and other things which contain what is the update. The cart now. Item will be added to the cart here. Click on checkout. So I am purchasing one item need by date. Now the rest of the way you can see the PR number, the same PR number you can access in classic network console. There is no change. So if you want to change the requisition title, you can change it. My spare part requisition. I am entering the required dates. The contents in current information. As we are aware, GL accounts may not be matching browse. All select the top one, lucky where it is accepting it. Item category material. Click on submit. My PR is submitted. PR 8629. When you go to the classic, when you see the 869, that is available. There is no change in the master data. Same your request. When I go to the your request tab, all my details will be available with the status also submitted order. Maybe this may not be the case in well. You will be seeing under my documents, right? The same thing you can see the status. Received means item already received. Submitted means it is under approval. Order means PO has been placed, waiting for the suppliers to send you the material. Composing means it is in a drop status, all the purchase requisition you created for the last 3 months are visible. If you want to look at last 6 months, you can change these filters. It is now easy navigation last 6 months. Or if I click all the documents will be shown here. Similarly, under this, how many items are for my receiving? When I go to the receiving, this PO is there. I have to accept the quantity. If I got this item from the supplier, I will select the relevant PO and perform goods receive. I will click on receive. Let's say receiving document RC384. Select that. Click on edit. Click on enter the name and click on accept from. Click on submit. You see here, even when you click, receive it taken to the classic sourcing and I completed it. It has taken back to the guided bank. Only few screens, only they did it. Now this is completed. Also, when I go to the left, if I am an approver, I can see all my peers waiting for my approval. Okay, I can see the detail and I can approve. So this one, my spare part requisition, this is submitted today. I am the approver for that PR, so I can approve it. If I want to know what is the details, you can click on the detail. The system will give me PR details. So what is the right M5 Pesina 37 quantity? If I am okay to approve, I can approve it. Next it will go for the RSA-A3. Once it is done, approval will be done. The same approval process where you are going to configure. We are going to configure under main is my approval process only. There is no change for guided buying, approval process or anything. This is an end user activity. As a consultant, what is your role here? Suppose you are involved on an admin page. What is your role? You are having an admin section here. By clicking on admin, you do have designing the land. For any questions? Sanjay, did we cover the payment terms and tax code changes? Sorry. Payment terms not in Ariba. That is maintained in your backend system only. And I have shown you a way to upload the payment terms. In that I import and export. You can click payment terms and you can upload them. That is, if you want to modify what is not coming from your backend system. So payment terms generally comes from your ECC. Sanjay, in which course the CIG and Ariba guided bind will be covered end to end. CIG. So you have to take CIG course only. Okay. Do you also take SAP Sanjay? No, I don't take it. As I mentioned, CIG requires a lot of technical knowledge also. Correct. So you can use enablement workbook also, that is as a reference and payment covers. Main is floor administration that I import and export. You can import payment terms via this one. You can export the payment terms, okay? And then you can import back the payment terms. Mostly the payment terms comes from your backend system. So what will happen is in here in the import section, when I go to payment, terms, click on completed. We generally have integration here. Client version, client type and client department. If you are seeing this information, that means system is integrated. This data is coming from backend. Let's say you don't have that option. You are not integrated with the backend system. You want to import the payment terms. Then you can use this option to bring the payment terms. This is the default term. If you want to know what is this field under, then you have data dictionary. From the data dictionary, you will able to find out what is each field and what is that you want to do. Unique name, this is the PTRO4, the name of the payment term net 60, net 90. What is default? So whether it is a default is no means. Which one is the default will you have? Yes. If it is not defaulted, user has to select that item. Once default is done, then the description. So for example, 2015 means the name is also 2015. Within 10 days, 3% has discounted. Within 15 days, 2% has discounted. Within 20 days due to death. So you can refer the data dictionary file if you want more information like what is the accepted field and what is the field type of integer or string length, what is there. And all you can find from that address. Thank you, Sanjay. Sanjay, like shall we wait for the documents? Like it will be sent over email, right? Yes, you can reach out to them. If you're not receiving, you can reach out to your support person. I'll be sending by afternoon. So I'll prepare and help. The notes. Or maybe in 1 hour time, I will be sending it. So you should be. Do send if any other documents, if you feel like that will be helpful for us. Know the more resources. I think I have already shared 2 more documents. Within the sessions, if I remember something you asked me, which I have shared it. If I found something, then I can share it, but as I mentioned, I have explained you on health portal right in one of the session. That is your main source. So you don't need to depend on any other document because practicing the document is more than sufficient. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.